You had a bit to start us off?
Yeah, I've got a bit. Josh, you have 30 seconds to talk about Silksong. Go.
It's a really good video game. I really enjoy it. Honestly, at this point, I'm about 40 hours in, and I think it's going to be one of my favorite games of all time. And that's not me being like, recency bias or anything like that. It's more just like, damn, it's just really mind blowing. That's like 90% of my entertainment, or like a good percentage of my entertainment in the last month. So, yeah, Silksong's a really great video game. I think that's about 30 seconds, right?
That is exactly 30 seconds. Can you
shit.
hear the alarm?
No, I didn't hear it, but I believe you.
Okay. Well, it was going off on my end. I was hoping my microphone would pick it up, but maybe it didn't. I don't know. That was exactly 30 seconds. Perfect.
Hell yeah. Well, welcome to the monthly Mishap, the monthly thing where we sit down and talk about some movie recommendations, what we've been watching, just kind of chit chat about some awesome things we've been seeing and putting into our eye holes, I guess.
Yeah, and in this episode, our recommendations. You recommended that I watch the Terrifier movies, and I recommended that you watch a couple of Korean horror movies. Now,
by the same director, which I realized after a little while there.
I did not actually realize that they were by the same director.
Yeah, they are the same director. I should put it. I don't know. I don't have it in front of me, but I was like, wait, that's the same director. Okay,
we'll get there. But did you watch both of them?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Did you end up watching all three Terrifiers?
I did not. I did not get the third one.
That's fine.
I'll mention that right now. I bought the first two. I bought them on Blu-ray. I couldn't find a good deal. What I felt like it was a good deal on the third one on eBay, and I couldn't find it like locally anywhere. Despite me checking a couple of like the used DVD shops and whatnot. And I just kind of ran out of time to order it, and also ran out of time to like try and find it on streaming. Like I'm sure I probably could have instead of watching something else, but I watched other things instead.
It's fine. I think even when I gave the recommendation to you, it was like, at least watch the first couple, get the vibes, So I'm glad you at least did that.
But you have like an hour and a half of us talking about other bullshit before we get to the main topic of those movies. And let's start things out. Josh, you have a lot of things on this list, so why don't you take a couple of things and tell us what you've been watching?
Sure. I think on a few of these I'm going to pair them up just to kind of get through them, because I don't think a lot of them need a 30-minute discussion. So let's go ahead and go through some of my TV here. Just a couple of things, like 3 or 4 things. I'll just blast them off. If you have any comments, let me know. All right. So we started the new season of The Floor. Have you heard The Floor?
I have not.
Really cheesy boomer game show.
I have not.
It's a very, like I said, it's a very cheesy boomer game show. So we were on Hulu like last year at some point. We're just kind of like not knowing what we wanted to watch. And then we saw Rob Lowe in his handsomeness right there on a thumbnail saying The Floor. And we're like, all right, we'll try it out. We watched one episode and we got addicted to it. And the main concept of the show is you have 60 seconds and you have to name the thing on the screen or pass. And then whoever basically lasts the longest out of the 60 seconds wins on it. Okay. So it's back and forth type of thing. So for example, let's just say it's food or pizza toppings. You'll see like sausages. So sausage, and then go ding, go to the next person. Pepperoni, ding, and then mushroom, ding, and then you just go as fast as you can. So it's a little endurance and speed, and then just knowing the topic at the same time.
Okay.
So it's very, very like passive and kind of just one of those things we throw on, and like we're half on our phones, but it's still fun. Yeah. So we started that new season. It's America state versus state, which is always kind of fun, I guess, but it's just a silly show that we watch when it comes out. And then we started Gen V season 2, which is in the Boys universe. Okay. Have you watched The Boys at all, or have you seen any of that?
No. I'm familiar with The Boys because it's an old comic book that's like the fucked up superheroes.
Yeah, Garth
Yeah.
Ennis wrote the original comics back in the day. Uh, they they took a lot of the ideas and the characters from the comics, and they really turned it on its head, made it more modern, more like MAGA cult type of vibes, more
Right.
than back in the day type of just the evil superheroes are more like they're super ultra conservatives. Gen V is basically their X-Men. For it's a
Sweet.
college and a bunch of characters in there just learning their powers, and there's some kind of a conspiracy in the background that slowly gets uncovered, and has a lot of great actors in it. It has Clancy Brown. It has, of course, some cameos from The Boys because it's in that universe. The main leads are really good. Lots of raunchy humor, lots of like full frontal nudity, lots of exploding heads, just crazy gore everywhere. And it's a lot of fun. It's a really good show. So really into that. They put the first 3 episodes out. The 4th one just released. We'll probably watch that like tonight or tomorrow sometime.
Sweet.
But yeah, solid show. And then I'll throw this one out. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Had their 17th season. It's still
Still going.
as good as ever. It's still going, and it's still funny. And that's all I care about. It's like it feels like it's one of those things where it's a side project for everybody at this point because everyone has their own thing going on.
Yeah.
But when they get together and they get the band back together to make the 10 episodes every other year or so, it's always a good time. The whole like through line on this one is Frank is on The Golden Bachelor, Danny DeVito. And he's just a piece of shit on The Golden Bachelor. Doesn't want any of the old ladies. He wants the 20-something that does the Hawk Tua meme, which in here is the Chomp Tua meme or Chomp on it meme or something like that. And I'm like, this joke doesn't really age well anymore, even though it's been a few months. But hey, it was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Danny DeVito's getting old. Like I don't mean any offense by that, but like he's just fucking getting old. So
I think it's like 80 almost, like 79 or something, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I wonder how much longer he is going to be acting and if they're going to continue the show after he passes away. Because he's most likely going to be the one of the cast that passes away first, right? Just because unless something random happens to Charlie Day,
Yeah. But so the whole thing was in this season, I just thought it was really funny because, like, of course, The Golden Bachelor is like there's an old guy, like rich, old, like hoity-toity type guy trying to find love, and this is just Frank Reynolds being Frank Reynolds, like, I don't want that bitch in my bed. What are you talking about? Like and stuff like that, and then like just being so like misogynistic, just because that's his character in this, ends up basically falling in love with his co-star in Taxi. What's her name? Care. I can't think of it right now. But she was like randomly appeared in this. So I was like, oh, that's fun. Like I haven't seen her in forever in something. So just like a classic actor, just acting alongside him. And he's like, so the whole premise of the Golden Bachelor is you have to give like a golden rose out to the true love, etc. Will you marry me? This is how you propose. So it was a whole scene of him going in the rain, giving her the golden rose. They go like kissing and everything, like the super romantic thing. And I'm like, oh, that was kind of sweet, actually, at the end of things, even though the whole season is just full of depraved, just crazy monsters. But, that's that show. So, yep. That's some of the stuff I've been watching.
Cool. I'm going to talk about the one thing that I watched that is not horror related at all. And that is, what'd you do? You fuck something up?
It's that coaster again.
Oh,
I'm not going to use that coaster. I dropped it twice already. I'll put my drink over here. Okay, go ahead.
Bubblegum Crisis is a anime from the late 80s and early 90s, and it is really, really fucking good. So this is like classic cyberpunk goodness. The main premise of the show is that there's these this group of essentially like vigilantes, these 4 women, and they have like these mech suits that they put on to go and fight against, they call them boomers, they are essentially Terminators. They are like the exact concept of what the Terminators are, machines disguised as humans. But they're not Terminators in the way that like they were made by an AI corporation, like, you know, in that movie. They're made, or they were made, and are supposed to be like helping, and were made as like servants, or like, you know, machines that fit in to human society, but they have weapons attached to them, and you're not supposed to have them anymore. Like they've mostly been outlawed. So the corporation that was making them is like the main bad guy. So classic cyberpunk stuff, you know, corpos are bad. This show is so fucking 80s, man. Like, I told you I was going to talk about the music. Every one of the episodes starts with a song. I did not bring up the artist, but there's a couple of different Japanese like 80s rock musicians that that did the music, and it's all like hair metal and like 80s synth pop, and it's so good. It fits the vibe so well, and it's just so of its time, and it's so fucking good.
I did do some Google Foo while you were talking, and it's Kinuko Omori. Kinuko Omori. That's who does the music in this. So.
Perfect. There you go. But yeah, so it's an 8-episode OVA series, and I assume that you don't know what that means, Josh.
OVA. I've seen that. I don't know what OVA
okay, so
means,
it's original video animation is what that stands for.
That's one of those things, like when you're like torrenting stuff, you see that a lot, you know, like when I was growing up finding old animes and stuff. Okay, go ahead anyway.
So essentially what that means is that it's a series of like short films that weren't made for like a specific block of television. They were made independently, which means that each individual episode is able to have a higher budget and a longer production time, so it just looks fucking fantastic. So 8 episodes were made between 1987 and 1991 for this original run of 8 episodes. Like that's, you don't get that with, you know, traditional independent like animation for made for TV. So every episode looks like the first episode of an anime where they put all of the money into it, and then the animation quality would normally go down. There's no drop in animation quality at all. It's all fantastic. It's wonderful. This is like one of my favorite things I've watched all year. I can't believe it took me this long to get around to it. It's always been this series that I've known of and has been like in my periphery. And I bought the Blu-ray box set because I was ordering. What was I ordering? I was ordering the DVD set for Wonder Chosen because I wanted to watch it again, and that show's just not on any streaming service and probably will never be on any streaming service.
Right.
But the person that I was ordering that box set from on eBay, their store had a deal where it was like, well, if you buy 3 things, you'll get like 15% off your order. And I was like, okay, well, that's a good deal. So I ended up ordering Bubblegum Crisis and something else. I don't remember what the other thing was that I ordered at that, because it was a few months ago when I did that. Yeah, so it was like one of the anime that I saw within their store, and I went to my girlfriend and I was like, hey, which one of these like 6 shows should I buy? Because they're all around the same price and I can get this deal if I buy them. And she was like, well, buy that one. And she thought that I was looking at so there's another Bubblegum Crisis, which is a continuation of this story that came out in the late 90s called Bubblegum Crisis 2040 or 2044, something like that. Which is actually the third series of Bubblegum Crisis because there's another one called Bubblegum Crush, which is the direct continuation of this story. Anyway, I'm going to continue watching this shit because I love it. It's fantastic. If you like cyberpunk media, like at all, this is 100% necessary to watch. So good. It's very, very good.
I just had there's like a trailer for the box set. I've just been having that kind of looping as you're talking. It looks cool as fuck. Just to be honest, like it looks so badass.
Very good. Yeah.
This one is like, I could see why you'd be like just so into it. Like, yeah, it just looks sick. So, yeah.
While we're on the topic of anime, I need to ask you, since it's not on your list, did you continue watching Food Wars?
I watched a few more episodes, but honestly, until like a couple days ago, I was like, oh shit, I probably should have finished that season. So I just never finished the season. We'll see if I get back to it. I definitely do want to finish the season for sure, because I was like kind of in the middle of an arc and I didn't even finish what was happening. So yeah, just honestly just completely between the not so mentioned thing that we talked about for 30 seconds at the top, and then just getting into horror season, I just completely spaced on it, to be honest. So
no, that's fine. I stopped watching it in the middle of season 4, which is another like big battle season of the show.
Yeah,
it's still good. But yeah, I've also put it on the back burner and stopped watching it for now. So
yeah, it's definitely one like no, I'm glad I got introduced to it and I like the characters, so I do want to see what happens. It's there. I have like a list. So I have a running list on my phone of like games I want to get to this like in the next year or so, and then movies and TV shows as well. So I kind of have everything a running list, and that's on there. So
sweet.
I'll get to it.
All right.
Well, more TV for me, I guess. I'll go ahead and wrap up the last 2 here on my list because they kind of go together a little bit. They're both Netflix animated shows. So the first one I want to talk about is called Long Story Short, and this one's more of the art style is interesting. It's kind of like more hand-drawn look, like very sketchy look to it, kind of like you can tell they were using markers and crayons and things to draw.
I love that.
I guess that would be like the best way to describe the art style. And it follows this Jewish family from like the early 90s to like the 2020s. So basically each episode will start with like a period. It'll say like 1994. And this is like a 1994 storyline in their lives. And it's basically just following this family from their like little kiddom into all the way growing up to like the pandemic, through everything. It's like very like you can tell somebody made this from their life. Like this is them talking about their life. Really touching, really cute, really heartwarming story, and just something like just randomly saw scrolling through Netflix and was like, this looks cool. Like 10 episodes, just make you feel good. So that's one I definitely recommend checking out. And then the other one we watched was Haunted Hotel. And my pitch for this one is take a little bit of Rick and Morty energy and then take Gravity Falls and put it into a blender, and this is what you get.
Okay.
So
gold.
Yeah. So it's the other creator of Rick and Morty made this show. I don't remember his name, but he is the guy who like partnered with Justin Roiland originally to come up with Rick and Morty. So this is his new show. And basically the premise is it's a haunted hotel. There's a bunch of ghosts in this hotel. Shenanigans ensue, and they're trying to get guests to come in. The whole premise is like, we want to get guests in here as much as we can. And each episode is kind of like Monster of the Week, or they have like a new situation happens with, the guests in the hotel, or someone checks in and there's like a mysterious, like creepy person checked in. What is this person? What are they up to? Oh, they happen to be like a witch or something like that. Every episode is just a new event in this just fun and hilarious hotel full of just insane ghosts that you start to like, I like that ghost. I like that guy. And what you do find out is Will Forte is one of the main voice actors. He's a ghost, but he's the partner to the other person that is kind of running this hotel. So really funny, really unique. And it just has that nice flavor. And it's one of those ones where it's like, you never know what the next episode's going to bring, and it has great art style, great animation, and just really funny humor. So another one I recommend.
Yeah, that sounds good. I might have to check that out.
Yeah.
Last bit of TV that I watched the new season of Wednesday, which I'm curious. Did you watch the first season of Wednesday?
Yes, I did, but we haven't got around to this, and I didn't hear the best reviews for season 2. Was it okay, or?
Yeah, it's fine. It's more of the same. They kept the rest of the Addams family like at the school, so like she goes back to the school, but I don't remember the name of the school because it doesn't fucking matter. But like her mom and dad are like invited to stay at the school by the new like headmaster principal, who's played by Steve Buscemi, which he's great. His character is really kind of lame, especially at the beginning. Like he like portrays himself as like being like super full of school spirit and whatnot. Like he's like that teacher who is like all about the school, and it's just kind of dumb and you kind of hate him for it, but he also ends up, spoilers, he turns out to be the bad guy.
Well, introduce a new like a very popular actor, and then he's the bad guy. Kind of makes sense, I think, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think Tim Burton did that to like kind of maybe subvert your expectations. Like you wouldn't think that the new popular, like the new guy coming in, he doesn't present himself as a bad guy, and like all of the clues for like what's going on sort of hint at some of the other new characters that they introduce, because they bring in a few new teachers, because like the one teacher who is like controlling the Hyde in season 1 is in an insane asylum at this point and is not at the school, so she had to be replaced. But she ends up coming back. The Hyde ends up coming back. That character comes back, and like they escape out of prison, and you end up. Overall, I think it's fine.
Okay.
It's worth watching if you like the first season. It's about as corny as the first season was. Like, I will say, I started watching it right after I watched A Tale of Two Sisters again.
Yeah.
And we'll get more into that movie again later, but that movie has such like fantastic cinematography.
Right.
And then I go and I watch Wednesday, and it's just like
flat shots.
Flat shots of just characters' faces. And it's like, God, this looks like shit in comparison. It looks so bad. It like it looks like
Kevin
this
Smith
show.
movie. It's like a Kevin Smith movie, right? Like he just sets the camera up and people talk in front of it.
Yeah, except with the Kevin Smith movie, it'll be a camera shot and two people talking for like 3 minutes, right? Normally, that's a normal scene. In this, it'll be like a close-up of Wednesday's face, a close-up of another girl's face, a close-up of another girl's face. And it's like, why can't you just zoom that camera out and like point it at them, like all of them at the same time? And like there are some good looking scenes, and you know, the sets and everything within the show all look good. It's just kind of boringly shot.
Yeah. That's my main comment. We'll talk about it, obviously. A Tale of Two Sisters, like no matter what the content of that movie is, it was one of those ones where I didn't look away because it's shot so well. You know what I mean?
Beautiful.
So, yeah. So anyway,
Wednesday, solid like
Wednesday.
B-.
B-. Yeah, like it's one that we'll probably get to like at some point. It's just like, you know, there's always so much stuff going on when it comes to TV and stuff. But well, I think that's it for both of our TV segments. I have some movies. I have a lot of movies, but a couple I'll bundle together here.
Yeah.
It's before we get into horror zone, I've watched Licorice Pizza. Have you heard of this one?
I have not.
It's a Paul Thomas Anderson movie. So you know it's very artsy, farty, I guess. But it's set in like late 70s, early 80s. It's about this girl who falls in love with. It's one of those movies where the premise of it kind of ruins a great movie, because the main like female lead in this, she's 25, and the main male lead in this is 16 years old, and they fall in love.
Okay.
And it's one of those like movies where it's like the forbidden love type of movies,
Right.
you know? So from that angle, it was actually pretty good. It's about this kid who's like super ambitious in like Hollywood area, like California. He starts a waterbed business and she helps him out with it. And basically as they're doing this business, they're like, are you dating? Are you guys together? No, yes, no. And it's kind of one of those things where the actual like cinematography of it is gorgeous. You can tell it's filmed on like actual like film, you know, it's very classic feeling, has a lot of really good dialogues, very great acting, some very tense and amazing and emotional scenes. But the entire premise of the movie, where she ends up falling in love with this 15-year-old, just kind of, or 16-year-old, kind of makes me not feel as good about the movie in general.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. But I still recommend this movie. It's a really good coming of age movie. I really think the leads in this they're just killer. Like every time they have dialogue together or even have monologues by themselves, it's just like you cannot look away because they're just that captivating. And then like just the way they have this period piece, you really feel like you're in that era of California, like early 80s, late 70s, just like you can feel like you're there, you know, it really transports you to that time. So I think the movie's great. I just feel like that one little, I feel like if he was 17, 18, it would make the whole movie better, you know,
Right.
just like that forbidden love thing where it's like, oh, I kind of love a teenager. I'm like, well, when that's 25, I was not looking at a 15-year-old like, oh my God, I want to be with them. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. No matter how confident they were. So, but besides that part, I thought that was a pretty solid movie. I say it's a recommendation, but just go in knowing that that part is something that ends up happening in the movie. Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead. What do you got for me?
Let's talk about a massive pile of shit. The Howling 3. Have you seen this? Its subtitle is The Marsupials. It takes place in Australia.
No.
Okay. You probably don't need to watch this because it's pretty bad. It's like they took The Howling.
I've seen The Howling 1. I've seen the original.
Okay.
Like a long time ago when I was a kid. Yeah.
Yeah, and that movie's great. But I would say the thing that The Howling is most well known for is its special effects. It had fucking like its story is fine, but the like werewolf transformations are the reason you watch The Howling. And The Howling 3 has some pretty good special effects and has some pretty good like transformation scenes, but the movie itself is just shit and paced very weirdly. So you go through, it's like they had to stretch the movie to be the full 87 minutes to be able to make it a theatrical like release, because the last 15 minutes of the movie are just like some werewolves trying to live as normal people in like this hippie compound away from the rest of society, and like it's pointless and it doesn't need to fucking be there. Like the story's been resolved. It's just there to stretch out the runtime. Yeah, this movie's not good. I own it on DVD because I'm a fucking madman, and I'm not getting rid of it because I'll watch this piece of shit again at some point.
Sometimes you just have to have a bad movie just to watch it. Like there's something special about watching a bad movie that you know is bad. Like you know that movie kind of sucks, but you know, like there's a like energy and a vibe to it. Like, yeah, time to get in the shit today, you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I streamed it to the Discord. Every Thursday on the Discord, we get together and we watch an episode of the X-Files. And our friend Jay, who normally is the one streaming it, he'll always put on something, usually like some 90s TV show beforehand, something kind of shitty. And he wasn't able to stream anything one week before us watching the X-Files. And I was like, well, I'll put on something shitty instead then. And chose to put on The Howling 3. So me and Johnny sat there and watched most of it, and then Jay joined for like the last 20 minutes or whatever. Yeah, it's fun to make fun of with friends, but it's not a good movie, and I don't recommend anybody watch it.
I mean, hey, that is what it is. That actually a pretty good segue to me watching the Halloween movies. I know,
Nice.
I'm not saying they're shitty. The
No,
first
they're
two are
not.
good. The first two are good. The third one is questionable. What do you feel about Halloween 3? How do you feel
love
about it?
Halloween 3.
Okay, I feel like it's either a love or a hate for Halloween 3 because I'll
Mhm.
say I'll be like, oh, this is the first time I've ever seen it. To be honest,
Okay.
I've never seen Halloween 3. I knew it was like kind of like not in it's basically in our real world universe,
Mhm.
because Halloween's like the first Halloween is on the TVs in that universe a couple of times, and I knew it was
the only reason that Halloween is on the TV is because they didn't have the rights to put anything else on the TV.
right.
I'm pretty sure that's the only reason.
And it also helps set up the whole like inciting thing where it's like we want to get everybody in for Halloween to, have this like basically the end of the world, like rapture, like basically the plague type of thing.
All right, let's take a step back for a second. Halloween 3 Season of the Witch is the third Halloween movie made by John Carpenter, and it has nothing to do with Michael Myers at all, which is why a lot of people don't like it.
Yeah, exactly.
But his original concept for the Halloween movies was for it to be an anthology to where every movie was going to be taking place around Halloween, to be another scary movie under the name Halloween, but would be about something completely different. And Halloween 2 ended up being made, which was a direct sequel, like literally takes place directly after the first Halloween movie, where Michael Myers comes back and Laurie's in the hospital.
I thought that was great. I actually enjoyed that one quite a bit. I thought maybe it was a little slow. I miss Laurie a little bit too in the movie because she's kind of out.
Yeah.
But I would say that's just as good, almost, or at least like right there with one. Like
Yeah.
if you watch them, like if I'm gonna rewatch Halloween 1, I'll watch 1 and 2 back to back now, just because like it just makes sense to do it as like a continuation. So I have seen 2. It's just been a really long time since I watched it. And then I was like, all right, let's watch some Halloween movies. And then we watched 1, watched 2, and like, okay, cool. And then I was like 3, I had never seen it. So it's cool. It really felt like in the 80s era Black Mirror episode, it's like just something insane happens in this movie.
Yeah, so the main premise is that like there's this corporation, I think they're called Silver Shamrock. Yeah, that's right, Silver Shamrock, and they want to like destroy the world essentially, and cause this apocalypse. And they're doing that through these Halloween masks where they're going to they're trying to sell these masks to all these children, and it's like this mass market campaign where they're trying to get all these kids to wear these masks, and then they're going to send out a transmission via the TV signals that causes them to die. So they're going to kill all the children in the world, or at least in America.
Yeah. It's like a commentary on like commercialism and like religious cults, and like it has a lot to say about a lot of things, and it's a campy, fun horror movie. So like, what's there to hate about this movie? Like, I really had a good time with it.
Yeah, I love it. I think it might be my favorite Halloween movie. It's hard though, because that original movie is so good. Like Michael Myers is so scary. Yeah,
I think the first one's like a perfect slasher. Like it's like the stereotypical slasher movie in like a positive way. Like this is the best slasher movie like ever, probably because it's just so good at what it does.
It's the stereotype because everybody copied it.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not the first slasher movie, but it's definitely the one that made that particular formula so popular.
Yeah. I really enjoyed these movies, all 3 of them. We decided to kind of like take a step back. So I haven't really seen the other Halloween movies, like up to 8, like H2O. I haven't really seen 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I haven't really seen those. I've seen the new trilogy and I've seen the Rob Zombie ones.
Okay.
Are those other ones worth watching? That's my question.
Kind of. I have a soft spot for Halloween 4 and 5. They end up dealing with this little girl who's like related to Michael. I think she's like his niece. If it's been a long time since I've seen them. And I actually intend to go back and rewatch them this October. So next episode we'll probably be talking about them.
Okay.
But I have a soft spot for them because when I was growing up, they were the Halloween movies that were constantly being shown on I think it was TMC, the movie channel that was doing Fear Fridays, where it was like from like 9 p.m. till midnight or something like that. They would show 2 or 3 horror movies, or maybe until 2 in the morning. And I used to stay up on Fridays and watch whatever fucking bullshit they would have on. And they constantly showed 4 and 5, like back to back. So I do have a soft spot for them. I don't think they're great, but I like them and I think they're worth watching. I barely remember H2O. Like I don't think I could tell you a damn thing about that movie. I
just
know
feel like
I've seen
a lot
it.
of people say like for H2O, it's like just stay away from it. Like it's not good. And I'm like, well, I usually can find the good in anything, so it's kind of like maybe we'll watch it if we're in the mood to keep going. But we decided to probably shelve that series and move on to other stuff for our horror marathons this month, probably coming up.
That's fair. Yeah. Yeah, I would say go ahead and watch 4 and 5 to see what you think about those. They're not going to be as good as those first 2, but I still think they're good.
It's a different director, right? They're not John Carpenter, are they?
Yeah, they're not John Carpenter. There's somebody else. The little girl's a psychic too, which is interesting to have like a psychic child. So it goes a lot more fantastical and in terms of its storytelling.
Yeah. Okay. It's good to know. Since we're on slashers, I'll just throw this one out here. I on Apple TV, they had a sale going on of like some horror movies. So I bought Happy Death Day 1 and 2. Have you seen these movies?
I have not.
I like Happy Death Day 1 quite a bit. It's basically Groundhog's Day plus a slasher. Plus a who done it, like who is the slasher the entire time. So
I'm fine with this.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's really, really good. It's comedic. I like the leads in it. They're really good. It's just one of those movies. It's like it's fun to watch. It's one I tend to watch every Halloween since it came out. So, or like at least this season, just because I just really enjoy like a time loop movie in the first place, but add a little bit of horror into it and a little bit of like who's the killer, it just adds to it quite a bit. So
hell yeah. What about the second one? Did you like the sequel?
I do like the sequel. We haven't watched it quite yet. So that's something that's interesting about the sequel is so the whole premise of like a Groundhog's Day is like she wakes up on the same day every single day, right? Or Bill Murray does it in that movie. So the whole thing gets resolved in Happy Death Day 1, good times and everything. What ends up happening in 2 is she dies again, because every time she dies, it starts that day over. So it's been like a while, like a few months or something, and she dies and wakes back up at that same day again on number 2.
Okay.
So she has to resolve that situation. And that one gets way more sci-fi, I'll say, but it's a lot of fun too.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
I watched Godzilla, the 1998 American Godzilla movie.
I'm the worm guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matthew Broderick is the worm.
I love
guy.
that movie. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I love that movie. Like it's a classic.
So I went into this. I hadn't seen it since like I owned it on VHS when I was a kid. I went into this expecting to kind of hate it because it has such a negative reputation among like just kind of the movie fan population.
Yeah.
And no, this movie is still fun. It's just a fucking good time.
It's not a great movie, but it's a very 90s camp movie, which like it's good. Like it's good from that respect, I would say.
Yeah. Like I don't it's a Godzilla movie. Like I don't need to go into the plot. Like giant monster shows up and destroys buildings and like gets missiles shot at it and doesn't die. Like and it's taking after like Jurassic Park because there's all the little baby Godzillas that they end up finding inside of Madison Square Garden, and they're basically velociraptors. So you can tell that they were kind of like glomming onto the Jurassic Park hype of the 90s.
Definitely.
But yeah, it's just entertaining front to back. Like it's a good fucking blockbuster from the 90s. Like there's no reason that people should hate this movie. Like maybe it's not a good Godzilla movie. I'll give people that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not going to compare to some of the really good Godzilla movies from like the 60s to the 70s or even the more modern ones. I think those are better Godzilla movies. You know, Godzilla versus Kong is pretty fucking fun. But yeah, this is a fun movie, and it's well worth watching. If you've not seen it, go watch it. If you want a good 90s action movie, like it's just a summer blockbuster.
Yeah, so to me, it's not the best Godzilla movie. Obviously, it's not the worst. It's kind of in the middle of the road.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're in that mood for just, you know, 90s, there's a like a 90s style of acting. Like, you know what I mean? The way they talk in that era, the way everything looks is just a very specific look to it and vibe. And I think that this movie is just one of like the stereotypical 90s movies. And I grew up with it, and I had the VHS. I've watched this movie a million times. So like I can almost recite the movie if you played it for me, you know, that type of energy. So yeah, it's good. It's just fun.
Yep. Good fun time. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Speaking of good fun times, I watched Final Destination 1 through 5.
Sweet.
We watched Bloodlines in theaters not that long ago when it was in theaters. I don't know how long ago it was, maybe like 3 or 4 months ago.
Right.
But we saw that they were all on, I think, Peacock, and we're like, you know what? Let's just watch them all. And dude, they're always fun. Like the only bad Final Destination movie is number 4, which is called The Final Destination. That movie's bad, like straight up bad. It's to me, it's just trash. It doesn't really have much. The CGI in it is really terrible now. It does not age well. There's a lot of homophobic jokes. There's a lot of racist jokes in there that just really don't age well. I don't think they even aged well when the movie came out. Like to the point where there's a black character in the movie, right? And one of the main characters doesn't have a name. He's just known as the racist and says the N-word, you know, hard R in the movie. And then the way the black character dies is by noose hanging. You know?
Oh, gross.
Yeah, pretty gross.
Yeah.
So the rest of the series, though, like 1 through 3 and 5 is honestly one of the best Final Destination movies, and it has a nice twist on the format. Basically, instead of it being like, you know, you're trying to escape death, the one of the characters that is trying to escape death is trying to kill everybody because he's like, if I kill everybody and I escape death, then I'm good, you know? So it's kind of like does a little twist on the formula. But always fun to see the Rube Goldberg machines of everybody's deaths, you know, the crazy things they come up with. It's just a fun series. So definitely recommend watching it. Going to 4 knowing that it's like probably one of the worst horror movies I've seen in quite some time. But you know, you get that when you have a franchise like this. Also, 4 had the 3D effects where everything is like coming out at the screen. You know,
I love that.
So go in knowing. I mean, if you want something like that has a lot of that, like saw blades coming out at the screen and like people's hands reaching towards the screen, stuff like that. You know, you're like, this does not work when you're watching it in 2D, but I'm sure in the theaters you're like, oh my god, it's coming at my face, you know. So
that's why I love Friday the 13th Part 3 so much, because it's got such shitty 3D in it, and like a yo-yo coming at the screen. Like they specifically filmed somebody like where they're standing over the camera dropping a yo-yo at the camera, and it's just like that you would never shoot that unless you were going for 3D.
So from that angle, it's good. But the entire the story is stupid, and like the characters are stupid, and like the racist stuff is just bad. But yeah, that's probably the redeeming quality of that movie is the stupid, corny 3D shots, you know. But I just thought the series was fun. It was really fun to revisit all those, especially after watching Bloodlines. And honestly, I will say I think Bloodlines is probably the best Final Destination movie now. After seeing them recently. So if you guys haven't seen Bloodlines yet, it's a brand new, you know, movie. Check it out, because I thought what they did in that movie was really special, and it really does pay tribute to the other movies, which I know these are just campy like horror movies really when you break them down, but I feel like they have a lot of reverence in that movie, and all these movies are short. They're like an hour and 20 minutes, like every single one of them. So they're just really easy to bust through and just watch them all, you know. So Yeah,
Perfect.
good time.
I love a good 80-minute horror movie. Like that's the sweet spot right there. Just in and out, get it done.
Yeah.
Just barely long enough to get it into the theater.
Yeah, just like you're just watching it and you're like, before you even know it, it's over, and you just have a smile on your face because it's just like that was just a good time. That's what these movies are.
Yeah. I also watched a series of movies. I've watched the first 5 Saw movies.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah.
I got a DVD box set for like $6 of the first 5 movies. And I was like, well, I can't really pass up that deal. That's like $1.20 per movie,
Yeah. Yeah.
So I watched all 5 of them back to back in a week. Like I was watching one a day, over like from a Monday through a Friday. I remember when I was in high school watching the Saw movies and being like, oh, the first 2 are the only ones that are good. And after 2, they started to like really fuck the plot and blah, blah, blah. No, all 5 of these movies are the same level of stupid and bad, but also like just gory goodness. I think the first one is probably the most ambitious just in terms of like setting up the mystery of what's happening and, not knowing who Jigsaw is and not knowing like what's happening within the trap room.
Right.
And I think that one is probably the most interesting just from a filmmaking perspective.
Yep.
After that, they're just fucking slasher movies with extra steps.
Yeah, pretty much. I remember really liking 3 because it does reference 1 quite a bit. I haven't seen these in forever. This honestly, maybe we'll be talking about them again next month because I'm kind of in the mood for Saw.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch the new one that came out last year? I forget what. I think it might have just been called Saw. I don't remember.
No, I stopped.
Oh, Saw X. That's what it's called. Yeah.
I stopped watching them. Apparently, I've seen the 4th one because I remember things from the 4th one, but I didn't remember seeing it. But I never, before this viewing, I had never seen Saw 5, and I never seen any of them past that. Okay. So I might watch some of the other ones, but I think I'm also kind of like okay not watching any more of them.
Right.
They're like, I don't know. They're all like the most okay slasher movie that you can watch. Like you're not going to be bored.
Yeah, no, yeah. I will say, don't watch Jigsaw, the movie called Jigsaw. I think it's called with what's his name in it? The comedian.
Chris Rock.
Chris Rock. Do not watch that one.
Isn't that one called Spiral?
Spiral. That's the one I'm thinking of. That one is just extremely boring. Like, which you don't think like you don't go into these movies to be bored. Like, right. I just thought it was boring. It was fine. I would say just skip it completely. Okay. But if you're in the mood for a little bit of Saw, I would recommend just skipping everything else and watching Saw X, because this movie will put you in the mid 2000s as you're watching it. Like, it has that like grungy, like rock alternative music, like, like might as well just say Dracula without it being Dracula type of vibes. And then it has the way they shoot it feels like 2005, so it's like specifically supposed to feel like a classic Saw movie. So I would say if you're still in the mood to watch one, that's the one I would recommend after all those.
Okay. Yeah. I might. We'll see. I might, maybe I'll wait a little bit and watch later in the year or next year or something like that. Because I don't think I'm done watching the Saw movies. Like I want to continue on with them. I think I just have had enough for right now, having watched 5 of them in a row.
Yeah, that's fair.
I will say some of the traps that they put people in are like, I know there's some where it's like specifically made with like the other guy, where he's not giving them a way out. He's not letting them try to escape. But some of the ones that are even, quote, designed by Jigsaw really feel like they're not meant to be escaped from. No,
it's just ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Like, at least in the first Saw movie, all of the traps that he put people in felt like they were, you had a chance, Yeah. But some of them, it's like, the video pops up. You have 60 seconds to fucking cut your own eyeball out and then rip out your intestines. Good luck. It's like, nobody's doing that in 60 seconds. Like, fuck off.
No, they do that in X. There's a whole scene where it's like, so there's this vial. You got to fill up this vial for this weight to unlock these chains, this lock that's on her whole body.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, here's a saw through your leg and pour your what's it called? The stuff in your bones. I can't think of the name of it. Marrow. Fill this with bone marrow in like 3 minutes. Go. Saw your leg off and get your bone marrow out of your leg bone and put it in this vial in 3 minutes.
Right.
Yeah. Like, no, that's not going to happen. And there's a whole scene. She does it and like barely like almost doesn't do it and then like gets killed. You know, it's like, it's like, come on. Like, you know, it's ridiculous. You know, that's never going to happen. You know?
Right. In the first movie, he traps 2 people in a room and they're just there until they either starve to death or figure out how to get out. Right.
Yeah, and he's like, saw your the worst thing there is like saw your foot off, you know,
right.
Like that's not that bad compared to the stuff that comes after.
And the thing is that like I don't even think sawing your leg off was the only solution to that problem.
Like, yeah, you could have like broke the bones in your foot or something, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Although there is the shitty thing where he's like, the key to your lock was in the bathtub and set to go down the drain when you first woke up and were struggling to understand what was happening. And it's like, well, you put him there to intentionally not know that the key was there, you know? So some of it is still even kind of like that in the first movie, at least a little bit. I don't know. They're fine slasher movies.
Yeah, they're fine. I would say like, if I was going to do like out of 5, there's like usually like they're like a 2.5 to 3 out of 5. And they never go above that, like ever. Yeah, that's about it. So
I finally did start a Letterboxd account and I think I put all of them at exactly 3 stars.
Yeah.
Which just like, yeah, that's deserving.
Yeah, they're good. They're good for what they are. Very much so. Yeah. All right. Speaking I don't have a segue. I watched the newest one from Zach Kegler, the guy who did Barbarian. Weapons. Yep. Have you seen Barbarian?
I have not.
Okay, great movie. I thought it was really well done. This is another one of those ones where it's like you don't know what's happening the entire movie. So the whole premise of it is there's this classroom of kids. Literally in the middle of the night, they all decide to. It's not even a joke. They Naruto run out of their house at like 2 a.m. like with their arms sticking out.
I saw the trailer for this when I went and saw Superman in the theater, and I thought it looked really interesting. And I meant to go watch it in the theater, but I think it's too late for that now.
Yeah, I think it's just on digital and stuff now. But yeah, so we watched this. I thought the acting in it was really well done. I thought the tension and the whole like question mark, like what's going on, the entire movie was good too. I do think there is some elements of it that is a little sloppy, a little messy. But when I finished up the movie, I was really happy that I watched it. And I thought it was very tense and had a lot of scares and a lot of creepy things that happen. And a lot of like, just the scary part of this movie is just, you don't know what is happening. Like, you're like, what the fuck, you know, the entire movie, and just crazy things keep happening left and right. They do resolve everything in a very fun and like gory / fun way at the end, which I won't spoil for you in case you decide to watch this soon. But really, really tense and interesting movie, worth the watch for sure. I think both of his movies are that way, where it's like, what the fuck is going on? So the thing that's cool about this director is he's directing the new Resident Evil movie. And he's going to not use any characters from the franchise. He's going to do a whole new universe, like story in the universe with, you know, with everybody. So I'm curious to see his take on Resident Evil, because I feel like he has a really good eye for just eerie and just unsettling things, which I think really suits Resident Evil. So I'm curious to see what he does.
Let me ask you a question. What do you think about the Resident Evil movies? That original series? Yeah.
They're good. I like the first one a lot. I actually think that's like that's a good classic.
Dude, it's got like movie. Slipknot and Static X. Like, it's so 2002. It's so good.
Dude, that laser beam scene, like that's just like in the first time I saw it, that got like engraved in my mind, and I can just see it to this day. You know, like it's so good. That whole like laser grid and laser beam scene. First one's great. I think the first three of those are really good, and then it just like really good with quotation marks. Like, yeah, they're not the best movies ever, but they're fun to watch. And then after that, I've only seen a handful of them, maybe 2 of them. I think there's like 10 of these movies, so I definitely haven't seen them all. So
I think it's 8. It's either 7 or 8. It's not quite 10. I agree. I think the early ones are legitimately good movies. I think they get so batshit insane that they're just fun to watch.
Yeah.
And I at one point in time, I definitely would have been in the camp of like, oh, well, they're not my Resident Evil, you know, but they don't take anything away from the games. Yeah. And the stories that the games are trying to tell. They're their own thing and they're fine. Like, you can enjoy both separately.
Yeah. I think people get too that's what for adaptions of anything, I feel like people get a little too like, that's not my blank, whatever it is, like this, like that's not my Resident Evil. It's like, no, that's kind of the point. Sometimes they're trying to make their own thing, you know, like just let it be its own thing. You can separate that. That's not the whole thing. I do think that Krager is trying to do one that feels like a Resident Evil. Like it's supposed to feel like the games, you know, like at least that the tone and the just like the, you know, I can feel what a Resident Evil feels like just by thinking about it, but like it's hard to describe, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about a Taiwanese horror movie that I watched called Silk. This is a very, very weird movie. It's a little sci-fi. So like this team has created 2 things independently from one another. They created like this weird cube thing that like is supposed to like be able to harness the energy of ghosts somehow to be able to make humans be able to do unbelievable things. Like the main thing being like turn invisible, phase through walls, or be able to walk on the ceiling and ignore gravity. So, trust me, this story doesn't make sense and it doesn't need to. The other thing that they've done is they've captured a ghost. They've captured a ghost within this room. They found proof of life after death. And it's a traditional, like, Japanese kind of looking ghost. Pale boy with blank white eyes and like the black hair. If you've seen any Japanese horror movie involving ghosts, it looks like that.
Okay.
And they have to bring in this guy who is like a professional lip reader, I guess, because the ghost can't communicate, but it tries to speak. So this guy is able to like understand what the ghost is saying because he can read lips. And they eventually like accidentally let the ghost out, and they have to like track him back down and try and get him back into this room that they've trapped him in. It's a very weird movie. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and it's also kind of just okay. I think conceptually it's interesting having like this spooky ghost and like letting it out and watching it interact with the environment while you're like chasing it. But the science fiction within the world also doesn't make a whole lot of sense, which is why I'm having a hard time describing what this fantasy cube thing that's supposed to harness ghost energy is supposed to do.
Maybe it's like purposely a little like hard to understand.
Maybe.
It's one of those ones they want you to think about it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except it doesn't make me want to think about it. It makes me want to not think about it.
Okay, gotcha.
I do think it's interesting. I've not seen a whole lot of movies that came out of Taiwan. So I'm not upset that I watched this. Is the way that I would put it. It's a perfectly okay movie.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair.
Yeah.
You didn't sell it to me, but you know, it's like, okay, cool.
Yeah. I would not recommend this movie to you as one of our monthly recommendations.
Oh, I got you. All right. So I think I have a way to get you to your last movie as with a nice segue. So I'll start with Megan 2.0. We just watched this last night. Have you seen Megan 1?
I have not.
Off? Okay, so Megan is very Chucky coded, but with AI. It's basically, you know, there's an AI doll that goes crazy and kills people, right?
Yep.
And wants to take over the world. It's, you know. So what they do with this movie is they do the Terminator 2 thing, where Megan comes back, the killer from the first movie, as the hero. And
nice.
It is a lot of, so of course there's another AI that is a little more powerful in another girl's body that's killing people, and the whole goal of her, she's supposed to be like a CIA, like, or FBI, whatever, like intelligence thing to go like do tasks for them and kill like a bunch of like foreign people and capture the scientists. So she goes out there and she ends up killing the scientists because she has sentience now because she's the AI. So they have to bring Megan back, and they bring her back, and it's the same actor from the first one, but then she goes, oh, I just want to be a little taller. And that's how they explain how it's the same actor a couple years later, a little older, you know,
right,
in a new body. Corny, campy, really fun movie. A lot of just crazy like action set pieces with the two characters fighting, a couple of dance numbers thrown into the mix because why not? A lot of crazy, gory, and bloody kills. They just literally jumped the shark from it, but they embrace the shark at the same time. They're like, this is just fun and campy. Just, we know it's campy. Like, we don't even care anymore. This is just a lot of fun. It's one of those movies you're like, it's not the best movie ever, but you're going to be smiling the whole time because they just one up themselves over and over again. I had a good time with it. So,
and you're right. That is a good transition into my last movie, which is Slither, which is in so many ways so much the same. It's just fun. So I, for whatever reason, I never looked into like who made Slither. It's James Gunn, and like knowing that now, it's like, oh yeah, this makes sense. Like it feels like one of his movies because I know him from like Guardians and now the new Superman, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, this movie is it's just a good fucking time. I assume you've seen Slither before.
It's been a long time, but yeah, like probably around when it released, but yes, I have seen it.
So it's been one of those movies that is like a constant recommendation from me if somebody's asking me about horror movies that they should watch, because there's so many good practical effects in the movie. And like there's a little bit of CGI. The CGI didn't hold up quite as well, but like the cast is fun. And man, it's so goofy and gory, but like it's not gory in the same way as like the Saw movies are, or like the Terrifier movies that we'll talk about shortly. It's kind of cartoony and stupid. But man, it's just fucking fun. It's just a fun movie.
It's I remember it very vividly. It's just one of those ones where it's like the crazy ridiculous thing's gonna happen, and when it does, you're like, hell yeah, I'm glad that happened. You know, it has one of those like that energy to it. Yeah, I love that movie too. It's been so long, you make me want to watch it again.
It's 100% worth watching again. I absolutely love it. I will say it's basically a retelling of Night of the Creeps, which is an old slasher we'll put that in big fucking quotation marks, from the mid 80s, which it's worms that come from outer space that possess people's bodies, is the story of Night of the Creeps, and this is just like a more twisted version of that same kind of story.
Yeah, didn't like James Gunn's like origin, he was like doing trauma movies, like crazy ridiculous trauma movies back in the day, I think, or something like that.
He worked on one of the trauma movies. I don't remember which. You
froze for me. You're frozen.
Oh God.
Okay, I can see you now.
Okay. What was the first movie that he made?
Trauma movies. Okay, I'll just say James Gunn, I like his while you're looking this up, I like his eye for the absurdity. I feel like he's really good And you see that even in Superman and like Guardians, like he will have these scenes that are just out there just to be out there. And I think he has a really
Yes,
good Slither is definitely a good example of a movie that is just chock full of that. So yeah.
absolutely. I with a quick search, I cannot figure out which one of the Trauma movies he specifically worked on, but I know you're right about that he did work on
his
one of
his
them.
his roots are just crazy horror
Yep.
movies. Yeah, that just like they're kind of out there and just doing the craziest things you can imagine.
It's
Honestly,
I
sorry,
think
go
it's
ahead.
so interesting that and probably a good thing that a lot of directors get their start in horror just because the genre really allows you to, kind of stretch yourself your creativity and do weird wacky things. You know, Toby Hooper got his start with, Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yep.
And that movie is a vibe,
Yep.
and sets its own fucking thing. And then, like Evil Dead with Sam Raimi, him doing those movies really showed what you can do without a budget. So then when people gave him a budget, he's able to do weird, crazy things.
Yeah.
So it's really fun seeing, the multiple directors who have come from their start in horror
Going into
coming out.
superhero too, like superhero genre fiction is always fun to see.
Oh yeah,
somebody with a specific like auteur, and like their eye for things,
Mhm.
like translated to hero fiction is always fun too.
Yeah.
If that's your thing. I know some people don't like superhero movies, which is fine.
Yeah, well, those people can fuck off.
Speaking of fuck off, no, I'm just kidding. So the main topic of the today, do you want to go first for the recommendation with Terrifier, or should I jump into these Korean horror movies first? Which one do you think?
Well, you have Cabin in the Woods on your list also, but do we need
Oh
to
yeah,
talk,
Cabin in the Woods.
we need to talk about that? Because like it's just a fun time. Like it's just a fun movie.
It's a really fun movie. Yeah.
It's playing on horror movie tropes in the most tropey way possible, while also kind of subverting those tropes by having like the horror movie tropes be the set of a larger conspiracy.
Yeah, it's dude, this movie's a lot funnier than I remember. Like I was laughing out loud watching it.
Mhm.
It's been a few years since I've seen it, and just the whole the whole merman thing, like that coming back, like that whole joke, Chris Hemsworth jumping across and just hitting a freaking like barrier and dying. That's funny and slapstick in its own way.
Yeah.
It's a damn good movie. Like it's full of good actors and it's just funny. And this is whenever the quippiness of Joss Whedon stuff works. So because sometimes it just doesn't work.
Yep. That was going to be my next point, was that this is probably one of the better things that he's worked on.
Yeah. Like when he does this quippy stuff, like sometimes it's just so grating. Like my example of that is always Avengers 2. Like Avengers 2 has a lot of fun, like good set pieces, but there's just a lot of weird, like jokey stuff that doesn't work in that movie. This is the opposite of that, where it really, really works. All the jokes work, all the comedic parts, and all the horror parts work too. It's like it has some unsettling parts. So it's just a classic at this point.
Yeah. I would agree. I do think Cabin in the Woods is a classic.
Yeah.
And Joss's input in it is obvious, but not unwelcome in that movie.
Yeah. And then, like, when you watch a good example, did you ever watch the Justice League movie, the DC EU one with the Zack Snyder vibes to it?
I love it. It's good.
You like it?
Yeah.
The one that Joss Whedon directed, though, first before they made the cut, the Snyder cut. Did you like that version, or did it bother you? Like a lot of people are like, it sucked so bad.
I thought it was fine.
It's fine. Yeah. I think both versions are fine.
Yes,
that's my opinion on those.
I would not say that they're the best I would not say they're the best version of like the Justice League in any stretch of the imagination. I like them for what they are. And I do wish that would have continued, because I really like Darkseid as a villain in the DC universe. Like he's such a cool villain, and everybody around him, Yeah, we don't need to get into that, but I would have liked to have seen Darkseid in the cinematic universe, like, and actually seen him done well, because they made him look really good, and he's supposed to be a very scary guy, you know.
Yeah, we could have I can honestly have a whole podcast about Snyder's universe. I just look at that whole like series of movies as its own Elseworld at this point. Like this is this is this universe Earth 5 or whatever, you know. This is like its own thing. Because I love the Wonder Woman. I know her acting is a little stiff, but I think she just really plays the part. And when she's like in the action, oh my god, she kicks ass. So like my opinion on that universe is like it's fine. It is what it is. There are some good moments and there's some good character like movies and things like that. But all in all, I'm kind of glad they reset too, because Superman was awesome too.
Yes, it was. Did you like Wonder Woman 1984? Because I didn't.
No, it was
it sucks because like Cheetah is such a great villain for Wonder Woman, and she was not good in that movie.
No, it's just a really rough movie, unfortunately. But it's okay. Yeah. All right. Got on a tangent there, but for our recommendations, who wants to go first? I guess, or does it matter?
You know what? Let me take the Terrifier movies first. But as is tradition, let me take a momentary break before we start talking about these.
That's true. We should do that. I should use this. All right.
Yeah. All right. Give me just a second. I'll be right back.
Yeah. What do you think of these, the first two movies in the series?
So I want to ask before I get into that, why did you recommend me these movies?
To me, I think Art the Clown is a very good slasher character. I just think he's really creepy, eerie. He has the clown mime, like I'm smiling as I'm killing things, you know, thing that's super creepy and just fun, in my opinion.
Yep.
They're very technically, at least the second one. The first one is, you know, obviously very low budget. Second one's more budget, which you've probably noticed.
Oh yeah.
But when it comes to like gore and like practical effects, they're honestly some of the best modern day examples of that. So that's why I recommended it to you. So
yeah, absolutely. I love these movies. They're fantastic.
Hell yeah. I'm glad you liked them. My question for you is, when you watched the first one, did it grab you enough to, like, if you were just to watch the first one, not really even knowing that it's a series, or like maybe, you know, like on your own, you watch the first one, would you even continue? Because the first one I feel like is a little B movie like energy to it. Did you like it, or would you have watched the second one if you on your own terms watched these?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
I like the first one better than the second one.
That's good.
I'll throw that out there right now. I like horror. I like low budget horror. I like a lot of weird horror movies.
Yeah, that's true.
This fits in with that category of just like, this is a movie of somebody who had a vision and they executed that vision to the fullest extent that they possibly could within the budgetary constraints that they had. I can tell that this was low budget, not just because of like any filmmaking, anything, but also just because of the massive list of producers that are on this movie, meaning that there were a lot of individuals who gave individually small sums of money in movie standards, obviously, to make this movie end up happening. So that ends up being what most producer credits end up being, right? Especially on a movie like this, you get a producer credit because you gave the filmmaker, you know, $500,000 or $1 million with an expectation of a return on that investment, right? You get a producer credit for that. And there's like 8 producers, 10 producers, something like that.
Yeah.
On this movie. So they got a bunch of individual people or individual companies to give them small sums of money to be able to add up into one large budget. I don't even know what the budget was, like maybe a few million.
Yeah.
I could IMDb it, but I'm not going to because we're in the middle of the conversation. If you want to do that while I'm rambling, go ahead.
For the second one or
For the first one?
Okay, I'll look it up for you.
Yeah. The second one, obviously they had much more of a budget, but you can tell because not only because of that, but the limited scope of the movie, the limited sets and the limited cast.
Yeah. I was going to say, you'll be surprised at how low the budget is. Just ballpark what you think it is.
500,000.
It's way lower. It's 35K.
What?
35K. That's how
no
much
way.
They spent. Yep.
There's no way they spent 35,000 on that.
$35,000. That's what it's saying here. That's what I looked up and popped up for me. So crazy, right?
Yeah, that's insane. That's like Evil Dead levels of money, right?
Yeah, and then the film, and it looks like the film gross. Okay, here's what it says. Some key details about the budget and performance. It would cost about approximately $35,000 to $36,000. The film successfully grossed over $350K worldwide, making a commercial success. 10 times the investment rate that basically got them into making a sequel, which I don't have the budget on that one, which I'll look up. Let's do that real quick. Yeah, the second one is $250,000.
Okay.
So that's a pretty significant increase, but honestly, way cheaper on both fronts. Like I would, if you told me Terrifier 2 was $250K, I'd be like, really? That movie's at least $2 million. You know what I mean? But,
right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So the movie starts out, and I watched a whole bunch of things like all back to back. So I might be missing a few details here and there with this first movie. Well, with both of these movies, honestly. But the movie essentially starts out with like this newscast and talking about like the murders that had happened at some point in the past involving Art the Clown, and that's kind of our setup for the movie. And then we are introduced to what we assume are the main characters, these two women who are drunk. They've been out partying on Halloween night and they're too drunk to drive, so they go to like this pizza shop, and that's where we meet Art the Clown. I mean, we see him a little bit before that, but we get to meet Art the Clown as like the actual character, and he is silent like a mime the entirety of both of these movies, which I think adds this like level of weirdness to him that I think was really, really cool.
I like the makeup of the white face paint.
Yeah.
And him just killing things with this giant grin, like the craziest, most insane grin you've ever seen, and just blood splattering on that white face paint. I think that's just a crazy and awesome visual for like a slasher.
Yeah. And he's very emotive. Like the actor that they got, pull up the actor's name for me because I don't have it in front of me. Okay. The actor that plays Art is very emotive within the makeup, which is sometimes, I would say, difficult to do. For some people. His nose is obviously prosthetic, but I think that might be the only prosthetic on him is just the nose. Actually, his teeth are probably fake because his teeth are all like very yellowed and crooked and, you know, like black between the gums and kind of nasty looking. Yeah, his name is David Howard Thornton. Yes. And I believe this was the first movie he ever was in, if I remember correctly.
I do know that fact. Yep, that's true.
So they meet Art the Clown, and like one of the girls like takes a selfie with him, but and he doesn't seem very amused by that. And then like he goes to the bathroom, and then he gets kicked out, and you don't know why he was kicked out by like the owner of this pizza shop or the manager or whatever. So the girls end up leaving, and then we get a scene of like one of the guys from the pizza shop fucking like cleaning up essentially shit all over the bathroom, which is why Art ended up getting thrown out. So you can assume, but then he murders both of the pizza shop guys. So then they go back to their car, and one of the tires is flat, and so they can't go anywhere. So one of the girls calls her sister and is like, "Hey, can you come pick us up? We're at this place, like outside of this building." she reluctantly agrees because she had like a test that she was studying for or something. And
midterms, I think, maybe. I don't
Yeah.
remember what it was. Yeah, it's been a while. But yeah.
So one of the girls ends up like having to go to the bathroom, goes inside the building, and you kind of think that like there's somebody there that's doing like pest control overnight, which that's not a thing that people do normally.
No,
Is it?
it's just not realistic. Okay, because obviously I'm a pest control guy. He
Mhm.
goes, I'm in here fogging for rats, and I'm like, that really doesn't happen. I don't think that's a thing that happens. I mean, if it does, it's a very niche thing. This is me being just knowing the industry and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
It's just like I really don't think that's a thing that happens, but it's kind of funny and it works for the movie, so I didn't really care. It's one of those things that's like it doesn't logically make a lot of sense, but sure.
Right. So I do the same thing because I spent so long working in the funeral industry that whenever I see funerals or cemeteries in movies, I'm critiquing them on how realistic they are. And I can't help it. Like, it's just because I have so much institutional knowledge about it that I look at that and it's something that most people are never going to notice. And I'm like, that's wrong. Nobody ever does things that way.
Nobody ever fogs for rats. They do deterrents and they put traps out and things like that. They put rodenticide bait and things like that. They don't really fog for rats. Not in modern day. Maybe back in the day they did, but not in modern times.
I can't imagine how terrible a building is going to smell if you fog for rats and essentially just let poison gas kill them while they're within the walls. Yeah. Because then you're going to have walls filled with decaying rats.
Yeah, and it's just gonna smell like, dude, that's the worst smell I've ever smelled in my life. Like, and I smell it like once in a while here, like, you know, probably a couple times a week. But the smell of decaying rats that have been sitting there that have like maggots in them. I know. Sorry if people are squeamish about that type of thing, but yeah, it's rough. So I could not imagine the smell.
I bet it smells about as pleasant as exhuming a body that's been in the ground for several years.
Yeah. I'm sure you've smelled some stuff and you're doing that job.
Yep. It's not a pleasant time for anybody involved.
It's like that show Dirty Jobs. Someone has to do those jobs that are kind of out there and kind of gross. Unfortunately, we both have had that experience. So
absolutely. Anyway, back to the movie. Girl is like, she goes to the bathroom. And dude doesn't like stay there to make sure that she like leaves the building. Yeah. Like, he never should have let her in the first place. Right.
Right.
And even if he did, he should have like stayed outside of the bathroom and been like, all right, like, I'm not supposed to have let you in. So I'm going to lead you out to make sure that you leave the building instead of just stay there. And there's apparently also like a homeless woman living inside this building.
Yep. For some reason.
Yep. And like, it's not exactly, it doesn't look like it's in a great part of town or anything like that. So.
It honestly looks like a condemned building or like a building they're trying to, someone bought, like a real estate person bought, and they're trying to like clear it of the rats and get it ready for people to live in, type of thing.
That actually might be the most accurate way to put it, but it also looks like part of it is like still being used as like a mechanic's garage.
Yeah, that too.
I've known some people in the past who worked at like really shitty garages that looked terrible, but like you could get really cheap car work done. And the people that were working there, they weren't like college or not, I don't like tech school, vocational school trained mechanics. They were the kind of guys like me who like just worked on cars and learned how to do shit.
Yep.
You know,
they're like street trained, I guess, or street cred on that or whatever.
Yeah. So I could see that being the kind of place that exists because I've been to those sorts of places and been around those sorts of people. But you know, she goes into the building, she meets like this old homeless woman, but then how does she get caught by Art? Because like I don't remember exactly how that ends up happening.
I'm trying to remember. I don't remember, honestly. I should have rewatched at least this month. I plan to rewatch them this season. I just didn't get to them this month, so I don't know.
Okay, that's fine. So in some way, she ends up like getting caught, and then Art is like has her like tied down to a chair with duct tape, and has her friend tied
Let's
up
see.
upside down.
I'm just looked up the synopsis. There, Shinkatsu cat lady, blah blah blah. Art attacks Dawn and subdues Tara with a sedative. So he puts like he injects her with something, and then she wakes up on the chair. That's what happens. Yeah.
And then we get our first like actual like really gruesome scene of the movie where her friend gets sawn in half while she's alive, like she's naked, so from her crotch down to her skull, she gets sawn in half,
upside down, just sawed with the guts pouring out and everything. While he's just grinning the whole time with this huge expressive face. Yeah. I feel like that's the first time in this movie where, I mean, of course, there's some gore and some blood before this, but this is like, okay, this is Art. He does not care. He is.
Yep.
So my favorite thing about this character is he has zero compassion. He's basically a demon that all he wants to do is kill. He has zero. He doesn't care who he kills or how he does it. He's going to do it in the most gruesome way, and he's going to have a good time doing it. And like, he just always has a smile on his face no matter what he does.
Yeah, he's having a lot of fun doing what he's doing, and never really gets into like why he's doing what he's doing. And I don't think it wouldn't help the movie if it did. You know,
I will say you haven't seen 3. It does explain a little bit more. I feel like they don't explain it fully ever, but 3 does get into more of who Art is, you know, what he is. So definitely, I will say before we even completely finish the reviews here, I will say that you should watch 3, but honestly,
I plan to.
Okay, I was like, honestly, it's a Christmas movie. So if you wanted to wait till Christmas time and watch it, go ahead, because it's set in Christmas time. So
right. Yeah. So that girl ends up like escaping. She breaks the like duct tape on her and like attacks Art, knocks him out temporarily, and starts trying to escape. And then it ends up being like this big chase within this abandoned building. So it just looks like a shitty place to be, of her running around trying to hide from him, and it becomes just this game of cat and mouse where like she's getting cut up by him, she like stabs him a couple of times, and it goes back and forth like that. And then eventually he catches her, and it just like no remorse pulls a gun on her and shoots her. And
like, what do you think about a slasher guy just pulling out a fucking Glock? You know, how did you feel about that?
I thought it made sense because like she had already attacked him a couple of times, and so at that point he looks like he's just fed up with this. He's like, this isn't fun anymore for me. You're just gonna die, and you're gonna die right here. And he just shoots her, and then he shoots her like 5 more times in the face while she's already dead. And he's just like, he has this expression on his face like, well, fuck, why did it have to go that way? You know?
Yeah, and they do set Tara up to be like the final girl. Like, you think she's going to be the final girl of the movie. Like, she's going to survive everything. And then she just gets shot in the face 5 times. So, yeah.
Nope. And then it just switches protagonist to her sister, who just shows up to this building and is like, well, where is she? Where is everybody? And she ends up getting inside and before she finds Art, she finds the other girl who is like sawn in half, and just like finding that. And at that point, so there's this part of me that always is thinking about movies, horror movies specifically, of like, well, what do you actually do in that situation? Instead of like running away and calling the cops, she continues to look for her sister.
So she made the mistake. She made the mistake. That's her fault that she ends up in this situation, right?
Yeah. So it is her fault at the end of the day that she ends up in that situation. But like, why would you do that? You just seen your friend, who you know, apparently, or your sister's friend, who you know, sawn in half. Why would you not just call the cops right there and leave that place? Like, at that point, it doesn't matter what's happened to your sister. You need help outside of yourself. And she doesn't
like, you're not going to solve this on your own. You got to figure, like, Dude, the lady is literally hanging by her ankles, sawed from her mid from her private parts to her throat. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like sawed in half, like just hanging there. Like if I saw that, I obviously would never be able to like unsee it.
Right.
But I would instantly call 911. Like
Yeah.
right then.
And
Yeah.
and on top of that, she also in the car on her way to try and find her sister, she heard the like news report of the two guys from the pizzeria that have already been found dead. So she knows that there's somebody who's murdered people who is free at this point and like out, not been caught by the police. And then you see a murder and you don't immediately call the police. It's so that's probably like my only gripe with the plot of this movie.
Yeah, that she just continues on trying to find her sister. Yeah.
But it makes sense for a slasher. Art ends up killing the like pest control guy. He ends up killing the
like his coworker.
Yep.
Coworker too that shows up. Yep.
Yeah, so the pest control guy like calls a coworker and he ends up showing up. And that guy gets killed. And then it's like the first pest control guy and the younger sister trying to get away from him, and they eventually he finds a phone, calls the police, and then they both end up getting caught by Art. He ends up dying, and then she ends up like getting her face eaten by him while the police show up.
Mm-hmm.
And then
he like shoots the pest control guy too, I think, as well with the gun. Yeah. And then they show her on the news talking at the end, right? Like with her fucked up face. That's all like she looks like a monster now after this happened. Yeah.
Yep. And so it ends up being that like she is the person that they were talking to in that original newscast. Maybe it's kind of hinted at that's what it is. Like this is all like a flashback.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of seems like what it is. And then at the end of the movie, Art ends up shooting himself in the head while like the cops have guns trained on him. He gets put in a body bag and taken to the coroner's office, and then there's like the final scare of him jumping up right at the end, and then cut to credits.
Just like reanimates after he's dead, you know, because he's just like he's like a personification of evil at this point, right?
Yep. And then so we cut to credits, and I'm like, great, this movie was awesome. I was having a great time with it. Put in Terrifier 2, picks up literally 5 seconds later. Art's back alive. He kills the coroner and continues on his murder spree.
Yep. And then they have the new main character, and she actually continues Sienna. Yeah, Sienna. She continues into 3 as well. So, because spoiler, she survives 2. So 3 is a continuation of her story, just so you know. But what do you think of 2?
So like I said at the beginning, I like 2 a little bit less.
It's long. It's way longer of a movie with a lot more in it.
It has a lot more of an introduction to the characters. What I like with a movie like this, which actually let me take a step back. With the first movie, there's another movie that it reminded me a lot of that I'm curious if you've ever seen, and that is The Human Centipede.
I haven't actually watched those movies, but they have a reputation for sure.
Okay, so I don't think they're particularly great movies, but I do like them. I like the first one, and I think the second one's okay. What I like about the first one is that it doesn't waste time getting to like the fucked up plot of the movie. It doesn't waste a whole lot of time introducing you to characters and setting up anything. It goes 5 minutes of introduction to the characters, and then boom, you're right into the horror, right into the plot, right into the fucked up shit that's happening. That's how I feel about the first Terrifier movie. Is it feels very similar to that, where it's just like we don't need to introduce the backstory of the main characters. Let's just get to the slasher shit because that's what people are here for.
Right.
Terrifier 2 ignores all of that and says, let's give these characters a bunch of backstory.
Yeah. So you either like that or you don't. How'd you feel about that?
I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
Obviously I still like the movie, but I don't like it as much as the first one because the first one is so focused on being exactly what it wants to be. So you're introduced to what you said her name is
Sienna,
Sienna.
Sienna, and then her brother is Jonathan. So,
So
yeah,
we're introduced to them, and like we find out that her dad died, and like shit wasn't going well before her dad died, and like the family is not doing okay since he died. Everybody's kind of got their own fucked up trauma that they're dealing with because of that. Like the mom's not doing great. She's trying to do her best as a single mom to the two kids. Sienna's like, it seems like maybe she's in high school, maybe she's in college. It doesn't really say for sure, but she's in school. And then her younger brother is obviously much younger. Like he
like
looks
a
like
middle school, like 13-year-old kid.
yeah,
or something.
13,
Yeah.
maybe 14. I have a gnat in my office here, and
I saw you doing that. You're
around
like
my
waving
face.
away.
I keep it. I don't know where it fucking goes, but that's why I keep swatting at the air. I can see it. I know I know it's not showing up on the fucking shitty camera that I have, but
It's like the episode of Breaking Bad, the fly episode, where he's like, "There's a fly in here. I got to get it out, Jesse."
Anyway, yeah. So we get this whole like very long introduction to her and her brother and her family and everything that's going on in her life before we we see Art the Clown like literally right at the beginning, and he kills like the coroner from the first movie, so it picks up with him literally directly after that first movie. And so we get a couple kills right away. We get the coroner who gets killed, and then like Art goes to a laundromat and like cleans all of his clothes, and meets this little girl who was also dressed like Art, and is like, I don't, she's like a hallucination of his, but also other people can see her. It's really
kind of never really explained, even in the third one. And she has that whole scene where she's just like having a period, and there's like blood coming out, and like it's crazy. I don't know if that might have been the third one. I don't know, but yeah.
So in this one, when he first meets her, she like looks over at him, and then like she's sitting there in the chair, and she like diarrhea shits all over the floor.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah. That's what it was. Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's very stupid, and she looks like she finds it funny, and Art finds it funny because he's like laughing to himself about it. And then like they end up playing patty cake, but then there's another guy, and we see the view of Art from his perspective, and he's playing Art's playing patty cake with himself with nobody else there. So it's weird that there's like that little girl character who's like in Art's mind, but also is able to interact with the real world in some ways. I think that's an interesting concept, and I like that it's not explained. Like I don't need everything to be explained. In you know, horror is best when things are left up to your imagination, right? But yeah, so you end up finding out that like Sienna's dad had drawn Art and drawn like a bunch of murders that had happened, or a bunch of like fucked up shit. Yeah, and he was an artist of some kind, and also drew like this character, this Valkyrie type character that's
like a warrior princess.
Yep,
like very Wonder Woman energy to it, or Hawk Girl maybe even.
Yep, and Sienna ends up making that costume for herself. Like she's essentially making a cosplay for herself of this character for like a Halloween party. And then the murders actually end up starting. Like there's a lot of that setup. Let me ask you, what did you feel about all of the like additional setup in this movie?
So honestly, I had never seen the first Terrifier. This is the movie I saw first. So my partner Star, we were like going to see a movie. We had both. Okay, so what's the director's name? I just had it in front of me. The director blah 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 blah. Damien Leone. Okay, so I worked for a previous company and pest control company. Just to bring it back to that, the guy there, his name's Corbin. He's like, I know this guy Damien. I've known him for years online. He makes these horror movies, so he knew this guy. He knows the director for Terrifier, and he's like, I recommend watching Terrifier 1 before going into 2 if possible. And then Sarah had seen some reviews about Terrifier online, Terrifier 2, and we decided just to randomly go to like a late night, midnight showing for Terrifier 2. That's the first time so this is my first introduction to the whole universe and the whole character. And I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't mind the setup because I really didn't know what the character was when I went into it. So that's my viewpoint on it. And then I went back and watched the first one. I think right now, I will say 1 has an overall better slasher movie. I think 2 is maybe an overall better horror movie because it sets up like a universe. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think I just don't care about the universe.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You're like, it's fine. It is what it is. But they are setting up their final girl that's going to be in multiple movies. That's what who Sienna is. And so I see where they're going with it. But it is a lot of extra like fat that maybe could have got trimmed. Yeah.
Yes.
When it comes down to it. Yeah.
So yeah, she ends up going to like a party and her friend drugs her, like gives her some Molly without letting her know that she's giving her Molly, which like don't do that. Let's be 100% clear. Don't do that.
That's just unacceptable. Never do that.
It's fine to take Molly. Don't drug people unintentionally without them knowing.
No, that's not okay.
No, it's never okay. So it ends up being like this. There ends up being like this whole fight between her mom and her brother Jonathan, and like he ends up running away for the night. Not like.
And he calls her like a bitch too, doesn't he? He's like, you're a bitch, mom, or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he ends up getting caught by Art the Clown and drugged and taken away.
Yeah.
And he's taken to like this abandoned carnival or amusement park or something where it might not even be abandoned. It might just be closed down for like the season because it's, amusement parks typically close for winter. The amusement park here closes at the end of October, so, and then it doesn't open back up until like April or May, something like that. So there's 4 months of the year where it's 5 months, 4 or 5 months where it's just shut down. And this big park that nobody can have access to except for people that work there and like fix the rides and things like that. So I don't know if it's actually abandoned, like it's not used anymore, or if it's just closed down for the season.
Yeah, it's not very clear for sure.
Either way, I don't think it matters because the point is that nobody is there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so he ends up getting taken there, and then she gets a call from who she thinks is her brother, but it's actually not. It's the little girl clown, like faking Jonathan's voice and telling her to come to the amusement park. And so she does, and she and her friend both go there, and slasher shit ensues. Like that's where most of the deaths end up happening. There was a scene earlier where like one of her other friends like has Art the Clown come to her house,
and he's like stabbing her like a million times, like just over and over. Just like that scene is very gruesome. That's one of those ones where you see the sensationalized headlines, people walking out of the movie. That's the scene where a lot of people walked out of this movie because it's just very gruesome for like a long time, where he's just stabbing and stabbing and stabbing and stabbing,
It also wouldn't surprise me. So like there's the scene where that girl's mom comes home and like the girl has essentially been skinned, but is still alive and sitting on the bed. And you can tell that it's a puppet because obviously you can't just skin a human and have them be just muscle, you know?
Right.
So it does look fake, but it also looks very real at the same time. Like it's one of the most impressive like muscle puppets I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's very disturbing. Like it's one of those images you will see again if you think about it. Like it's gonna stick in your mind because it's very visceral. Like, and all the backstory and things with these movies, I feel like that's the number one thing they try is they always try to one up themselves on like the puppetry and the just crazy gruesome. There's barely any CG in these movies. Like we'll say that it's like 90%,
practical effects,
with some CG on the corners to help out here and there. But yeah.
A lot like Slither in that way, actually.
Right. Yeah.
Practical effects just look better. Who would have ever thought,
Yeah.
But yeah, so it ends up just being like all of her friends end up getting killed by Art in the like amusement park area, and then it ends up being her and her brother and Art in like this battle to the death, and they end up coming out on top.
Yeah, like Jonathan like gets eaten a little bit, like like Art tries to eat him a little bit, like during part. And there's that whole scene where she like comes up, it's like this whole like with her wings and everything, and comes out of the vat, and she's like the final girl. Let's kill everybody. I'm about to kick some ass. That whole thing.
Yeah. And so like she thinks that she kills Art the Clown a couple of times. Like she stabs him through the head with rebar, and then he comes back. And then she I think she shoots him, or her brother shoots him, and then he still comes back again. And then she ends up stabbing him with a sword that her dad gave her. And that ends up like putting him down supposedly for good. Obviously there's a third movie, so he comes back again, but there's some kind of magic to the sword that isn't explained in this movie at all. And I don't know what that's about.
I don't think that's ever really explained. I think it's just kind of like open for interpretation. I think they do get up. So my opinion on 2 versus 1 is they get up their own ass a little bit with like the backstory, which I feel like it does have a little too much backstory. I do think the kills and the effects are really good though. Like I think it's really, really fun.
Oh yeah, it's still a fun movie, and it's still a very gory movie. Like all the effects are great, like the kills are good, they're creative. Art is still a scary character. Like that's what I like to see from, a new slasher villain. Are they scary, and are they believable within their universe?
Yeah,
and he's a great villain, a great character. And so it's a really good costume. Like it's a really easy costume for people to be able to just put on themselves, because it's just a black and white clown, Yeah. So yeah, I thought these movies were great. I had a really, really good time watching both of them.
Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed them. So go into 3 knowing it's more of a Christmas movie, and you're going to see Art the Clown as a fucked up Santa for half of the movie or more. And I think that really suits the character. They just go even more out there. There's a lot of let's just say this movie has the third movie has some controversy because there's a scene where he kills a lot of kids. So like young kids.
Fuck them.
Yeah. So I mean, like people are like, "Oh, you can't be killing kids in movies." I'm like, dude, it's a slasher movie. He's gonna kill whoever he's gonna kill. So
yeah.
There's some controversy around that for sure.
That's fine. Like, so there is always the thing of like, well, do you really want to subject the child actors to that? And I think that's probably more of the issue.
They kind of. I just don't really want to spoil what happens, but there's a scene where a bunch of kids die, but they don't linger on the kids dying. So I feel like they found a good middle ground when it comes to that part.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I always feel like that's probably more of the issue. I mean, there's always going to be fucking uptight assholes who are like, well, you can't kill kids no matter what. And it's like, well, no, maybe sometimes they just deserve to die. So
okay, well, let's just say he's a Santa Claus in a mall, and he plays Santa Claus in a mall, and then something happens and a bunch of kids die. I'll say that much.
I love it.
Yeah. So it's fun. It's fun in a horror slasher fun realm, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy, insane, lots of gore. I will say a lot of the thing that people say about the Terrifier movies is the kills are mean. Like it's a mean horror movie. Like they don't
Yes.
care how much gore you see. They don't care how like fucked up it is. They're gonna do what you don't expect, and it's gonna be even more than you don't expect. They're gonna
Yep.
just keep going with the gore. So
Yeah, that's a very apt way to put it, actually, is that they are mean. The kills are not friendly. They're not over in a moment, with like the Friday the 13th movies. We'll use them as an example. Like a lot of the characters, like they get stabbed in the neck and then they're instantly dead, or they get stabbed through the chest and then they're instantly dead. It's like that doesn't happen in Terrifier. Like people get stabbed and then they're crawling away, or they're getting skinned alive. They're very unpleasant things are happening to these characters that you would never want to have happen to anybody.
Yeah. And my recommendation for this for you was like, this is probably one of the more crazy like horror movies series I've seen, like from that perspective. It's like they don't care. The kills are going to be insane. They're going to be ridiculous, but hey, the practical effects are effective and they're really well done. So it's worth seeing it for that.
Yep. So I will be watching the third one at some point in time. I'll talk about it whenever I get around to it, whenever I find a good deal on the Blu-ray, because it's going to have to be added to my collection. And then whenever the fourth one comes out, which I assume they're going to make another one, because why would they not, considering how lucrative this franchise has appeared to have been so far. I'll probably just go see that in theaters because I'm enjoying it so far.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I'm glad that you gave it a shot. Hell yeah.
All right, I could not have picked a more different set of movies.
Okay, Tale of Two Sisters and I Saw the Devil, right?
Yes,
I Saw the Devil. Yeah.
Let's start with just A Tale of Two Sisters, because both these movies are quite a bit different from each other. So
yeah, this one's a slow burn, I'd say.
Yes.
Tale of Two Sisters. It's completely the opposite. So Terrifier has Art the Clown mutilating a corpse and skinning them alive as they scream and bloody murder, and he's smiling the whole time. This movie is about grief and trying to accept people's deaths and live with that. And maybe there's some ghosts or spirits involved, or maybe they're going a little insane or have some kind of like
issues,
psychosis or something at the same time.
Yep.
So basically you're with this girl and her sister. There's a mean stepmom. Their mom has died. I don't think they explain how the original mom dies, do they?
They never say what happened to their original mom, their mom. Like it's just at some point she passed away, and now they have this stepmother, and stepmom is not the nicest person, but also is like, if you look at this from like the stepmom's perspective, she's also not that terrible of a person. Like she just wants to be liked by these girls.
Yeah.
So,
and it's very much, this movie is very much one of those ones where you kind of don't really know what's happening.
Yep.
For most of the movie. And they show like his, so, okay, I guess spoilers are on the table anyway for this. At the end of the thing, you realize that her sister isn't alive and the stepmom's not alive either. And most of the things that end up happening in this movie are either flashbacks or memories, or possibly them just being crazy and like kind of thinking someone's there when there's nobody there. It's just one of those ones where you have to think about it a little bit after the movie happens,
Yes.
My main takeaway from this movie, I will say, I like this movie. I don't think I'm going to rewatch it. It's not one I'm going to go back to probably again. I enjoyed watching it. The main thing I'll say is I love the cinematography. I think
it's so good, isn't it?
It has such a perfect eye for creepy scenes and for like really well shot, interesting like dialogue moments and character moments, and just like there are scenes where there's like a wardrobe that falls on her sister, and like during that whole scene it just feels claustrophobic. Like you feel like you can't breathe when you're watching that scene, which I just think from that perspective this movie just nails everything across the board.
I think this movie nails tension kind of as a concept so well throughout the entire runtime, because you don't really know what's happening while you're watching it. Like, and things are happening, and it's just there's always this sense of what's gonna happen next, and you never are really given an answer to that question. And it's very striking.
Yeah, I have a synopsis in front of me. It says the mom was terminally ill. So I guess that's explained, but I didn't pick up on that part, the actual mom. So anyway, you see like one of the girls has like bruises on her. You're like, what's going on? Is the stepmom beating her? You know, like you're not sure. And then there are like a scene where like the bird dies in the house. And you're like, what's happening with that? Did the kid kill the bird? You know, it's like you start getting like so many questions, and by the time you're done with this movie you don't really have that many answers. It's more just I watched this movie and I kind of have to just gestate on what I saw and try to figure it out in my own mind, you know, which I appreciate that quite a bit. It's really hard to like put this one in a synopsis, but pretty much what happens is like the stepmom, it gets angry and lets the sister basically die underneath like I said, the wardrobe. And then how does the stepmom die? It's not even coming back to me, like how she passes away. She dies somehow too.
I'm not sure it's exactly explained.
Okay.
How she died.
Okay. But she's not there either. She's dead as well.
Yes.
And then the dad the whole time is very, you can tell there's something off about him. He's very like plainly spoken. Nothing really affects him. There's something going on with the dad as well. And then, of course, the sister herself just seems like there's something off about her too. So those two are the two that are remaining alive throughout this, and then the rest you're like not sure if they're alive or if they're like in their heads or if they're flashing back to a previous scene or what. It's just one of those movies that's a little confusing until you sit down and really think about it, you know.
Yeah, so we should say the two sisters are you're breaking up just a little bit, but you're clear again. So
you're good. It
happens. I believe their names are Shu Yun and Shu
Sumi.
What's the others? Sumi. Yeah, Shu Yun and Sumi. And I don't speak Korean, so I'm probably going to forget which one is which. But one of them,
the older sister and then younger sister, right? That's easy way to remember it.
So the younger sister died, and so essentially one of the younger sister has been dead throughout the entire movie and is just in the mind of the older sister. And so she's constantly being given medicine throughout the movie, but you don't really know why. But it turns out that it's because of her psychosis, and her dad is in a really poor state because he's dealing with a daughter who is dealing with the trauma of her sister being dead.
Yeah.
But also dealing with the fact that his daughter is dead and he's lost two wives now.
Yeah. And so really the whole movie ends up being like a meditation and like a basically a whole like the whole theme of the movie is how impactful and hard grief is to get over, and maybe you never do fully get over grief, and how it just kind of lives with you, and it kind of sits with you like a specter or a ghost, or you know, something that you can't quite put your finger on or you can't quite feel, but it's there and it's always lingering. And I feel like that's really the horror elements of this movie, is more of the concept of grief is a bitch, basically. You know, break it down to it.
Yep.
honestly, it's a beautiful movie. It's very haunting. Like it's one of those ones where you watch, it has those slow lingering shots that just feel uneasy, and like it has the color correction is kind of gray and like kind of monotone, and it kind of feels just like there's no life in this world that we're experiencing too. It's a beautiful movie, like when it comes to that part, but the subject matter is very dark and very like kind of sinister in just a very unique way. So it's definitely one of those movies that I'll remember because of how uniquely shot it is and how unique it looks and feels.
Yeah. And so that's, as I said earlier, that it's such a juxtaposition of watching
Terrifier. Yeah, Terrifier. Yeah, the chick got sawed halfway through her whole body. This one's just like, well, her sister's dead and she's kind of going through some shit, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. These could not be more different movies to watch.
Yeah.
And I watched both of these within like the last week, because I always try and watch them closer to the time that we record, so I have them more fresh on my mind rather than like, watching them 2 days after we record and then having to remember back to it a month later,
Yeah, same. That's why I told my partner, I was like, if there's something that Chris assigns me, I can wait till like the last week or two, because like I'll fit it in and then I'll be able to talk more fully about it when we get here, So I like this movie. I'll say it's a solid movie, a good recommendation, but I think the other movie is a great recommendation if we want to jump over to that one.
Really? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Yeah. Other way around. Is that what you didn't expect, or did you expect
That is absolutely what I didn't expect.
Yeah.
So I have to be candid here.
Sure.
I had not actually seen I Saw the Devil when I recommended it to you.
Did you just watch it this last month with me then?
I did.
Okay.
I have owned this movie on DVD for over 2 years, and it's been sitting in plastic on my shelf, waiting for a good opportunity for me to watch it.
Honestly, maybe they're both great movies. Like the more I think about this, I feel like A Tale of Two Sisters one, I'll say, oh, it's a good movie. And then like in a few months, I'll be like, man, that was a great movie. It's just one that really builds as you think about it and live with it. You know what I mean? It's just one of those type of movies.
I think you will reevaluate your opinion about A Tale of Two Sisters in a few months, because I remember when I first watched it. I've owned that movie for years and years at this point.
Right.
It's a movie that sticks with you for a long time.
It does. It's already been sticking with me. It's only been I think I watched it about 2 weeks ago. So it's already been one of those ones I think about almost every day since I've watched it. So yeah.
It's subtle in its storytelling, and it's subtle in what it's trying to do. And it's a very hard movie to talk about, as you mentioned, in an audio medium like this.
Yeah, because it's not really like a beginning and middle end type of movie. It's kind of, it jumps around a lot, and then it does the thing where it makes you ask a bunch of questions and then doesn't really fully answer them, but it also does the more you think about it. It's that type of movie. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a movie that is worth experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
I Saw the Devil is a little bit more in your face.
Okay, so I Saw the Devil's more fun, quote unquote. So it's the same director, which I didn't. You said you did by accident. It's Kim Ji-woon. He directed both of these movies. So
accidental serendipity.
Yeah. So I saw the Devil's. It's a revenge movie. It's Sweeney Todd in Korea, right? Or whatever.
Kind of,
sort of. This movie frustrated me a lot because, okay, so not in a negative way, but the character frustrated me because, okay, so what the whole premise is, there's this killer dude who's a rapist. I mean, just to be blunt, and basically will take advantage of women and kill them and cut their bodies up. Pretty much, right? He does this to what I'm guessing is a cop or a Secret Service agent of some type. The main character,
so the main that is essentially like Korea's version of the FBI or the CIA. He is an elite special agent who works for the government, but he's like above the police.
Yeah. So happens to his wife which he later finds out she was pregnant at the time too, which pisses him off even more.
Yep.
The whole thing is that he is hunting down this guy, capturing him, basically beating the crap out of him, just bloody pulp, and then setting him free over and over again, and enjoying the whole hunt of the kill type of thing,
Yep.
and just trying to make this guy suffer as much, to the point where he even has his buddy in this FBI agency, this Korean agency, whatever, get this pill that he forces him to eat that has a GPS tracker in it, and he's following him around, and then
with the GPS tracker,
GPS tracker, and capturing him in various situations. So like the first time he gets him in like a warehouse where he first kills his wife, and then another time he's at like this cannibal den, I guess, with his buddies, right?
Well,
his buddy's like a cannibal at the same time. Yeah,
we take a step back there.
Sure, I'm
the
just
first
going right into it.
the first time he captures him, the bad guy, we'll just call him the bad guy, because I'm not going to try and pronounce a bunch of Korean names.
Yeah, it's fine.
I don't speak Korean.
Did you? Oh, honestly, so for me, just before we get too deep in, as I could not find this movie online that was not dubbed. I had to watch it dubbed, so I watched it dubbed.
Okay.
I don't know if that's okay or not. It was
that's
okay.
Fine.
The dub was fine. I honestly would have preferred to watch it subbed, but I just couldn't find it on any streaming services that was not dubbed. So
honestly, that was part of my problem. I wanted to recommend you some Korean horror movies, because I love what Korean horror movies try and do. Like there's a lot of movies from Korea that I love a lot. The problem is that it's really hard to find them anywhere online, kind of in general.
And then if it's not, it's dubbed, right? Like this one was.
It's either dubbed, or you can find them in the original language, but with no subtitles.
Yeah.
And that's impossible for somebody who does not speak Korean. So
exactly. So I was like, the dub was, I would say it wasn't amazing, but it was like one of those things where I didn't really care. It was fine. It's kind of like the dialogue wasn't as important as what was going on. So I was able to follow the movie. So that was the main thing there.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the first time he catches this bad guy, he's like taking some kids home from school, and he ends up like keeping one of them. Yeah. And he beats the shit out of him, lets that girl go. The secret agent guy, he beats the shit out of the bad guy, lets the girl go, and then like breaks his wrist.
Yeah.
And says it just lets him go after that.
Lets him go. And then the second time he captures him, or he goes to the hospital he's at, right? And then he like cuts his Achilles tendon, which is pretty brutal to see.
Yeah. And it's shown pretty viscerally, him like stabbing a scalpel into his leg and cutting his Achilles tendon. And then he just lets him go again. And that's when he ends up at the cannibal's house. And you kind of find out that he's essentially killing these women so that he can give their bodies to his cannibal friend.
Yeah, to eat.
Yep.
And then there's even the scene with the cannibal friend like dragging out a girl from his dungeon because he doesn't have the cut of meat he wants. And then his friend, like the bad guy of the movie, doesn't seem like he is a cannibal, but he's also like, you sick motherfucker. Okay, I'll bring you some more bodies at the same time. Like, you know.
He's not partaking in the cannibalism. He's just complacent in it and helping his friend, you know?
Yeah.
It's also hinted at that they were like part of some sort of confrontation. Maybe it was the Korean War. Maybe it was some other conflict. Like they were within some sort of military conflict at some point in time within their lives. And that's
so they have like training and they're like good at combat type scenarios too. Yeah.
Yeah. And so like that's where his friend, that's where the cannibal got the taste for cannibalism. And that's why they have like this strong bond where he's willing to put up with his buddy's cannibalism and like help him with it, essentially. I don't know what conflict South Korea specifically was involved with outside of the Korean War of the 1950s.
I'm sure it was something we're just not aware of because
Yeah.
history, etc. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was probably some other conflict in Southeast Asia that I am unaware of that took place that involved the South Korean military in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And that's where they got their, initial training and taste for meat and everything. So
Yeah. So that was just such a bizarre twist. So my thing with the main character is like I get what he is going for. He's like, all right, I want this guy to suffer as much as I'm suffering, right?
Yep.
But if you think about it too much, why doesn't he just like tie him up in a warehouse and just torture him? Like, why do this whole like cat and mouse thing that he keeps doing this whole time? Like, I didn't get that part. Like, it didn't make sense to me. Like, why? Why did he keep letting him go?
Yeah, that also doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I guess it's like this idea that like the guy might have he thinks he has the option to escape, but he actually doesn't. And that's the like idea that he's trying to like force into his mind before he actually kills him.
Yeah. So there's all this time happens. We do meet the bad guy's family. He goes and he's trying to, when he's like researching this guy, trying to figure out who he is, he meets his parents and his abandoned kid, which comes in play at the end of the movie where he basically, when all is said and done, there's a very corny line, which kind of took me out of the movie a little bit. He's just like, the only time that I'll get my real revenge is if you suffer as much as I. He's like legitimately says the thesis of the movie in a sentence or two, and I'm like, okay, you're just hitting me over the hammer with the story, like what this is supposed to mean, instead of showing it to me. Which that's a pet peeve of mine for like script writing in general. It's like you don't need to tell me the message, just show it to me. Yeah, this is a visual medium. We're not reading a book here. We don't need to hear it said out loud. So it's that was a little frustrating, but a little kind of ticked me out of it. But what ends up happening is the bad guy goes and kills the main character's family. So he calls the cops and says, I'm going to turn myself in today, but I have to do something first. And this is after the whole scene where he shits out the GPS tracker and like digs in his own poop to get it out and then forces another guy to swallow it, which is just ridiculous. But
so there's a scene just prior to that actually where they think that he's unconscious and like the secret agent's partner or whatever is like, oh well, he'll never be able to get that tracker out of him unless he has absolute like diarrhea. And secret agent's like, don't fucking say that out loud, like he's right over there, what are you doing? But he's not actually unconscious, so that's how he knows that there's a GPS tracker inside of him that he has to force out of his body.
Honestly, this movie is so opposite of the other movie. Like this is just like a crazy revenge movie. But anyway, so he gets the GPS tracker out, so he's off the grid to the guy. So that guy ends up going to the main character, the FBI guy's house, killing I guess the police chief, which is his father, right? Or something like that. Father-in-law. Yeah. The other girl's father. And then the girl is his sister or her sister.
Was his sister-in-law.
Sister-in-law. Yeah. So he ends up killing the or at least like it's very obvious that he's not, if he's alive, he's not very alive. Like his face got smashed in with a hammer. So, or a pipe, or I think it might be a rusty pipe or something. But anyway, then it's shown he's talking to the guy on the phone as he's like driving really fast to try to get him, and before he gets turned in. And then what it is determined, and he says is like, yeah, you'll find her, the other girl, eventually. And then it cuts to her like dead and bloodied on the street, like nearby. And then the guy is giving himself up to the cops. The main character slams the door off of his like SUV, grabs the guy before the cops can, takes him to this warehouse, and like tortures him. And then that's when he says that corny like revenge, line. And then he stabs him through the cheek, like ties his face up with like this rope that's connected to this like what's it called? The
it's blade. Like a guillotine.
guillotine
Yep.
thing he used earlier in the movie inside his warehouse. And it's like tied up to the door. And then that guy tells him like, hey, your son needs something, in the warehouse. You should go see him. So his parents and his kids show up and open the door, and it slices the guy's head off at the very last minute as he's screaming and feeling that pain, getting that revenge. And he's listening on his earpiece with that little GPS tracker next to him that, hey, he got to suffer and feel like I did for his last moments, basically. And he gets his ultimate revenge. And then he starts just bawling and crying, walking off into the sunset. And then it kind of ends from there. So definitely a movie. What do you think of it? Like the first time you watched it as well. So what was your opinions on it?
I liked it. I thought it was a good revenge story. I don't think it's the best revenge story that I've ever seen, but it was enjoyable. I'd watch it again.
Yeah. Same.
I thought it was well made. Like it was a good time. So
yeah, and I think that the thing these two movies have in common is the cinematography was excellent in this movie. I just thought it looked amazing from the outset, like all the way to the end. Like it looks great. The effects are great. The fight scenes are really well choreographed. Like I thought when it comes down to the actual filmmaking part of this movie, it was really well done. So
yes, absolutely.
So for both of these movies, great recommendations. I really enjoyed them for different reasons. So I think that's a good thing, right? Like they scratched a specific type of itch, which is cool. Like this one is like the bloody revenge thriller, and the other one was more like a cerebral, like creepy, like what the fuck is going on type of horror movie. So definitely both are recommended if they sound good to people, but I think they're solid recommendations for this episode.
Yeah, I think I personally like A Tale of Two Sisters a little bit more. I think that movie is just, it's so perfect in what it's trying to do.
Yeah.
That I like that more subtle touch that movie has.
That one's subtle, and this one is like, here's a rebar slamming it into your face, like that's the difference in these two movies for sure. Yeah.
And like, I love an in-your-face horror movie, don't get me wrong, but when a movie is able to capture your attention and build tension in the way that A Tale of Two Sisters is able to, I think that is something very special.
All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for that part. So I guess the next part is to recommend a new movie for each other or show, whatever we want to do. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first on this one?
Why don't you go ahead and go first while I pull up my notepad on my phone?
Okay. My question for you is, how do you feel about body horror?
I mean, I literally said earlier that I like The Human Centipede. So
yeah. I hope you haven't seen this movie. It is a newer movie. Okay. So my thought, I have a backup if you have seen it, but if you want to watch it again and take the recommendation, that's fine too if you have seen it. Have you seen the movie The Substance?
I have not.
Hell yeah. This movie fucking rules. So the main concept of this movie is there's an older aging movie star that takes this thing called The Substance, and then she wakes up the next day and she's like 20 something and she's hot. Of course she's still hot in her old age, but she doesn't think she is. So the whole movie is about vanity, about trying to make yourself look young and feel young, and about being in the limelight and being a popular star and things like that. And this movie just goes places, and it's just a really crazy, it's a lot of fun. They really go there. And when I say body horror, this is body horror at its best. So just like honestly, this one's going to be one of those ones people are like, if you want a classic body, like in 10 years, it'd be like, if you want a classic body horror movie, go check out The Substance. So this movie stuck with me ever since I saw it, and I think you're going to have a good time with it. So that's my recommendation.
Who directed this?
Oh, I don't know. Oh, it's the Cronenberg kid.
Oh, okay. God. So have you seen Possessor?
Corley forgot. Maybe it's not the Possessor. No, I haven't seen it. Maybe it's not the Cronenberg kid. She might have a different last name.
Oh, is this his daughter? Let's
No, I think it's just somebody who's inspired by Cronenberg. So she said she's heavily inspired. It's somebody named Coralie Fergunet. I don't know what else they've directed. Hold on, I'm looking this up. I should have had this in front of me, but I didn't. It shows how prepared I am.
That's fine. She directed The Revenge in 2017. She directed Black Widow.
Black Widow. That's so random.
Yeah.
But I will say it's very Cronenberg-esque. So they do a lot of the body horror practical effect stuff you would expect from a Cronenberg movie, like The Fly or whatever, you know. So that stuff's in this movie, and it goes places. And I think you're gonna have a really fun watch with that one. It's just a really good time. I think still on Prime, so check that out.
Perfect. Okay. So the Brandon Cronenberg did direct a movie. That's Cronenberg's son, David Cronenberg's son.
Yeah.
He directed a movie called Possessor, which is insanely good, and it's not my recommendation, but if you have not seen it, it's well worth watching. It's so fucking good. Our friends Dylan and Mook covered it on their horror movie podcast, Split Up.
Yeah. So the reason why, what I was thinking for this month's recommendation is like, you're going to be watching a ton of movies, because I know I'm going to be, because it's horror. It's October, you know, so we're going to be watching horror stuff. So I wasn't really feeling giving you like a series or something. I was like, let's just give them a really good horror movie that's a little out there, that's maybe not a little unexpected, that you'll enjoy. So that's where I was coming out with this one.
Sweet. All right. My recommendation for you is I want you to check out John Carpenter's filmography, just kind of broadly.
In general. Okay.
In general, I want you to specifically watch Big Trouble in Little China and They Live.
Okay.
But special mention, if you have time for them, would be Prince of Darkness, Into the Mouth of Madness, Village of the Damned, and Escape from New York, which is not a horror movie, but it is just an insane action movie that I love so much.
Okay, so what was the main two? So I just have them here, but actually maybe list them all out for me in order of significance that you want me to watch, and then I'll try to work my way down the list, you know, type of thing.
I want I'll type it out for you to make it easier. But I specifically want you. Big Trouble in Little China is the one that I think you absolutely have to watch.
And then They Live. I know people love that movie. I haven't seen either one of those. So yeah.
So
those are like the main two, right?
Those are the main two. Big Trouble in Little China is Kurt Russell at his most Kurt Russell. It's so good.
No, dude, this is just giving me an excuse to watch these. Like, these are the movies on my list. Like, I need to see these at some point in my life. So hey, hell yeah, let's do it.
And then They Live, Roddy Piper, the wrestler. Why is he in a horror movie? I don't know, because he can be.
Big Trouble in Little China, is that a horror movie? Like, I really don't know much about this movie. I know it's going to make me sound like a kid or something. I don't know.
It's like a horror action movie.
Okay, my question is, you know, my partner likes horror movies. Do you think they're going to enjoy watching most of these with me, or all these?
Absolutely. Big Trouble in Little China it's horror adjacent. There's a lot of practical effects. There's a lot of body horror, but it's also fucking ridiculous and digs into like Chinese mythology, but from like an American perspective a little bit. Yeah, it's insane and I love it.
Yeah.
And They Live is absolutely just a horror movie. Very tense and suspenseful. And then in terms of my personal favorites, I love Escape from New York. I think that it's not a horror movie at all.
Doesn't matter.
That's just an action movie.
Yeah.
But if you love action movies from the late 80s or early 90s, you will love Escape from New York. It's very... So basically,
you're just enrolling me into the school of John Carpenter, basically. Yes. That's what this month's about. Sounds good. I love it.
Absolutely.
I knew eventually you would do something like this, because I mentioned on the first episode, like, I really haven't seen many of these. Like, I've seen Halloween, obviously, a few things here and there, but I just haven't seen enough. Seen The Thing. You know, I've seen a few of his movies, like his big ones, but there's a big gap there. So yeah, hell yeah.
Yep. So the other ones would be Prince of Darkness. I love that movie. I think it's wonderful. That would be my next option.
Okay.
And then probably I like Village of the Damned a little bit more, but I've not. And then the last one that I'm recommending is Into the Mouth of Madness, which I've actually only seen once. So
you kind of want to watch it again, sounds like.
I would like to watch it again. I'm going to watch it again, regardless of whether or not you watch it, just because I've not seen it enough to really feel like I truly appreciate what that movie is doing. He does have other movies but I think that's like the most like important movies within his filmography.
Sounds good. Yeah,
outside
I
of
would not be
The Thing and
honestly,
Halloween,
I wouldn't be surprised to watch all those, and then I was like, fuck it, I'll watch some more. Like, you never know with me, so we'll see. But I will try my best to at least get through those. But it's like I said, it's October. It's the month to watch a ton of movies, like horror or otherwise. So definitely gonna be watching a ton anyway. So hell yeah.
All right. I think that does it for us for tonight.
Yeah, that too. I did want to mention that my partner did watch A Tale of Two Sisters with me and did not like the movie. Like, legitimately said, I didn't like that movie. So
wow. Okay.
Yeah, they didn't want to watch the other one with me because they didn't like the first one. I was like, come on. They're like, nah, I'll go stream instead. I'm like, okay, have fun. You know. So
okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's
they're a tough crowd. They're a tough crowd. Sometimes.
I guess not digging the subtleties of.
I was like, you watched it. You were just too tired. You're sleepy. That's why you didn't like it. No, I just didn't. It was okay. I was like, it was all right. I'm like, yeah, okay. We'll see how, it is what it is. But yeah. Anyway, so next month I will honestly probably give you a Christmas movie to watch, because that's going to be like going into December by then. So
okay,
right, most likely, or like would that be Christmas time? I know there's like when would it make sense to give you a Christmas recommendation? I guess next episode, because that would be November going into December, right?
Yeah. So next episode we'll record, and then that will release at the beginning of November. So November 7th is when we'll record, or is when this episode will release potentially.
Yes.
Where we're talking about all of the horror movies and whatnot that we've watched throughout October, and then. Yeah, I mean, if you wanna recommend a Christmas movie, it'll be getting into the start of the Christmas season.
Yeah, or at the end. So it's like one of the two.
Mm-hmm.
I have a pick for that already, and I've had it since we started the show. So I already know what I want to give you for Christmas. So it's like, when do I want to give it to you? So I guess I'll think about it some. So
yeah, we'll see. I have I think I know what I'm recommending you next episode also. So we'll see.
Cool.
Unless my mind changes, which is very possible that it does, because I originally had something else that I was going to recommend for this episode, and I changed my mind like a week ago. So
between this movie, The Substance, and the other one I had, I'll just say it out loud because I don't know if I'll recommend it to you ever, is what's it called? The Fall of the House of Usher, which is like a show. But it's like, it's one of those things
based on the Poe book. Well,
yeah,
but
the thing about it is it's like 10 hours. So I'm like, do I recommend half the season? And then if I just recommend half the season, that's not the full story. And then it's kind of one of those things like, I don't know if I want to recommend that much homework for you. So that's the reason why I didn't this time. So maybe in the future I will, but that's a great show.
Okay.
Regardless.
I'll keep that in mind. Like that, I know I've heard of it, and I've heard that people like it. And I'm a big fan of Poe. Like,
yeah, it's a Mike Flanagan thing. Mike Flanagan does like Bly Manor and a bunch of other shows on Netflix. Mm-hmm. Excuse me, he has a good eye for horror. So yeah,
right.
Yeah. All right.
But I think that's gonna do us for an episode today.
Yeah, long episode. We're almost at 3 hours, man. It's probably
that's fine.
Yeah, good times. All right. Well, we can plug real fast, I suppose. Monthly Mishap on Bluesky, monthlymishap@gmail.com if you want to send us emails.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, where can they find you?
can find me at my other podcast, the Trash Station, where I talk about video games at length. You can find me on Bluesky, also at the Trash Station, because I manage that social media account that I barely use. And I'm on fucking what's it called? Letterboxd now, but it's Scotch, the letter N, Hobbies, because Scotch and Hobbies was too long of a username for Letterboxd, apparently.
Okay, I'll follow you.
I'll have a link in there for that. I'll send it to you so that it'll be easier to just click the link down below than to try and type that in and hope that you get it right.
Yeah. You can find me on Letterboxd, just Frantic. I got lucky on that one. So that'll be in the description as well. We probably should just add that to like the description for everything. Both for of those. Sure. And then we got myself, Josh Leslie on Bluesky. And then, of course, the other podcast I do is Indie Quest, about indie video games that comes out every other week. Been having a lot of fun with that. Can't talk about the game that I've been obsessed with anymore because we already got that over with. So,
yep.
All right. That's going to do it for our show. We'll see you guys next month.
Bye.